We are live from Coral Seymour Memorial Park here in Kenai, Alaska for game 3 of this 5-game series between the Peninsula Oilers and your visiting Matsu Miners. The Miners come into tonight 18-10 with a 3-game lead over the Peninsula Oilers, who sit at 15-13. This is Brad Walker, and alongside me is Connor Mills. Will be on hand for you tonight for this what should be a great contest. Another beautiful day here in Kenai, 64 degrees and very sunny, just a few clouds scattered around this night sky. So the starting lineups for your Matsu Miners goes as follows. Leading things off is the center fielder, Kona Quiggle, followed by the left fielder, Danny Wright. In the 3 spot is the second baseman, Caleb Van Blake. Cleaning things up is first baseman, Spencer Henson. And catching in the 5 spot is Austin Pinarini, followed by the right fielder, Josh Hatcher. And in the last 3 spots, third baseman Tyler Brosetti, designated hitter Aaron Walters, and the shortstop Drew Swift. So they'll face for the first time this year left-handed pitcher out of Rutgers, Tevin Murray. Murray, this is his 5th start so far in the season through 4, is 0-1 with a 3.37 ERA and 18 2/3 innings pitched. Has 26 strikeouts in 14 walks as well. And his last start didn't quite go as planned. Was the losing pitcher where he went 3 1/3, gave up 6 runs, all earned, 3 hits, 5 walks, and only struck out 7. So coming off sort of not great of a loss, but this is the first time he will see the Miners lineup, a very dangerous one at so, leading the league in a lot of statistical categories, but the one that stands out to me is 254 batting average as a team. So we mentioned the Miners. This is the 3rd game of this 5-game stint. The Miners dropped the first game and then have been hitting on all cylinders ever since. They've scored 17 runs and a combined 26 hits in the past 2 games. So definitely bouncing back from that tough loss in game 1. Kona Quiggle steps up to the dish, does some last-minute stretching, and we're ready to get this ball game underway here at Coral Park. Murray's first pitch of the ball game on its way and swung through by Kona Quiggle for strike 1. Kona comes into tonight leading the league in hits with 33, second in batting average at 311, and has an on-base percentage of 392. So having himself quite the season as he looks at a ball away. Count's now tied up at 1. In talking to Kona pregame, asking him what's been the success this year, and he said just having fun, staying loose, not really worried about too much. 1-1's on its way, misses high. So Kona Quiggle has worked the count 2-1 in this opening at bat. So in what this series has shown to be battle of the top 2 in the league, as Kona Quiggle swings through 2-2. Right now, the Miners are leading it. They've won the past 2 to lead this 5-game series 2-1. They also now have the advantage in the season series 4-3. So Murray from the wind gets Kona Quiggle to swing through for strikeout number 1 of this game for Murray, and out number 1 as well. With 1 out, we'll run through the defense for the Oilers. Behind the plate is Ryan Cook. Over in the hot corner, Zach Zaleski. Shortstops, Evan Berkey. Over at second, Grant Wood. And playing first tonight is Brian Leonhardt. In the outfield from left to right, Ryan Novus, Paul Kunst, and Matthew Kirk. So with 1 out, the switch hitter Danny Wright steps in. He'll be batting righty facing the lefty Murray. Murray misses outside the ball 1-0. We mentioned Murray out of Rutgers and did struggle in his last start, but in 3 starts prior as his 1-0 was swung on and missed. He went 15 the 3rd innings pitched where he only allowed 1 run. So that definitely has been where the majority of his stats have come from. His 1-1 is on the way. Nice fastball to hit the outside corner for strike 2. So now the Miners and Danny Wright are down on the count 1-2 with 1 down here in the top of the 1st inning. Murray's 1-2's pitch and misses high. So the count will move to 2 balls and 2 strikes. Danny Wright's having himself quite the season after a bit of a slump, has definitely brought it back. Now batting .286, which is good for 5th best in the ABL. As he fouls off the 2-2 right into the right hand of Caleb Van Blake, who sits on deck.
And for Danny Wright, batting on the left side is his stronger side. So batting on the right, interesting to see how he can do today.
Murray's 2-2, looked at for a ball. The count moves to 3-2. And you mentioned normally does get a lot of at-bats from left side, and that could be the reason he is in the lineup tonight, to get some experience from the right side, to get those swings and reps in. So Murray, his payoff pitch. This one is blooped into shallow center. Running in to make the catch is Kunst for out number 2. 2 up, 2 down so far for the Miners. And that's going to bring up Caleb Van Blake, who ever since stepping into a Miners uniform has been on fire. 12 hits and 32 at-bats. And even better is his on-base percentage of .533. He is riding a 3-game hit streak coming into tonight. Has gotten 4 hits in his past 5 games. So the first pitch from Murray into Van Blake is a strike. So the second out of 3 batters that Murray has saw so far, that's a left-handed hitter. So a little lefty on lefty matchup as Murray's 0-1's on the way. Just misses inside. The count's now moved to 1-1. With 2 outs, top of the first inning. No score yet between the Miners and the Oilers. Murray looks in, kicks and deals. Van Blake swinging, but just pops it foul over to the left side. That goes to the Miners dugout on the left side. The Miners wearing the camo jerseys tonight with green lettering with yellow outlines and then yellow numbering with the white pants and green socks. Oilers with the black vest and red undershirts and then red numbering and lettering with white stripes around that as well. So Van Blake, after cracking a new one as he steps into the dish. Murray's 1-2. Big breaker that rings up Caleb Van Blake. So the Miners are set down in order to begin this ball game, and the Oilers will come up to the plate for the first time tonight when we come back on Matsu Miners Radio. Nothing doing for the Miners in the top of the first inning. And as we enter the bottom of the first, we'll run through the Oilers starting lineup. Leading things off, third baseman Zach Zaleski, followed by the left fielder Ryan Novus. And in the 3-hole is designated hitter Chad Bible. Catching and batting fourth is Ryan Cook. Batting fifth, playing first, Brian Leonhardt, followed by the second baseman Grant Wood. And rounding out the order of the final 3, shortstop Evan Berkey, right fielder Matthew Kirk, and in the 9th spot, center fielder Paul Kunst. They're on to face Denver McQuarrie. McQuarrie, we've seen him once this year in just a 1-inning relief appearance where he faced 3 batters and got them all out. So on this past spring, however, he did start in 6 games, appeared in 19, and through 39 innings pitched, had a 5.54 ERA. McQuarrie out of Mississippi State, the right-hander. Just coming off that College World Series run with teammate Josh Hatcher, who stands out in right field tonight. And McQuarrie definitely going to bring that championship swagger with him to the Miners, who are en route trying to win their 3rd straight title. So Zaleski will step up to the dish from the left side. He is from Oregon State, who, if you remember correctly, just won the national championship. So 2 guys from the College World Series will face each other to start off the bottom of the first inning. McQuarrie's first pitch bounces in the dirt low for a ball. Zaleski, this is just his 4th game played. Throughout the first 3, he has 3 hits and 9 appearances, or rather 9 at-bats. McQuarrie's second pitch is a fastball that nails the outside part of the zone, so ties up the count at 1. Zaleski has had a hit in all 3 games of this series. So seeing the Miners pitching well as he fouls this one straight back to the netting. McQuarrie ahead in the count 1-2. So McQuarrie, the right-handed thrower against the lefty Zaleski, little righty on lefty matchup, and the Miners pitching has really been unreal this year. As this one is bounced up the middle, moving over to his right and trying to make the spinning play is Van Blake. The throw was in time for out number one. What a way to start out on the defensive side for the Miners as Caleb Van Blake with a spectacular play.
It was just a great play from Van Blake. A chopper right up over the glove of McQuarrie, ranging into the middle of the field, and then having enough power while running away from first to then throw it over. Great job by Van Blake.
You mentioned just a great job, and this Miners defense has been super reliable all season long. Pitchers really trust their guys when they pitch to contact, and it was shown right there. So McQuarrie, his second batter he'll see is Ryan Novus, who fouls it off over to the right side. Novus, the right-handed hitter out of St. Mary's College, been one of the hotter hitters in this Oilers lineup, batting .258 so far this season, has reached base at a clip of .311. So McQuarrie's 0-1's on its way, a breaking ball that misses well outside. The count's now 1-1. Novus, who just had a 10-game hit streak snap last night, so looking to hop back on the hit train. That was only the 9th time all season that he hadn't gotten a hit. As he looks at another ball that misses outside, so 2-1, one down, bottom of the first inning. We've yet to see any runs come across between the Miners and the Oilers, first and second place teams in the ABL. So McQuarrie from the wind, this time a nice fastball that hits the lower part of the zone. So he ties the count up at 2. And the Miners starting pitching has really been off the chain this season against the Oilers. Through 40 1/3 innings, they have compiled an ERA of 2.69. The 2-2's on its way, swung through by Ryan Novus. McQuarrie sets down the second batter in the Oilers lineup thanks to a strikeout. So 2 outs now in the bottom of the first inning. No score.
Just a great fastball by Denver McQuarrie, overpowering Ryan Novus.
Where he throws around 93, 95 miles per hour, gets that fastball in that zone. That's his first strikeout of the season. And he'll face the right-handed hitting designated hitter Chad Bible as McQuarrie misses low for ball 1. Bible, another recent addition to this Oilers squad, also has only played in 3 games. This being his 4th. He is 3 for 10 so far, so faring pretty well. All 3 of those games have been in this series. Nice pitch from McQuarrie on the outer edge for strike 1.
And not only is he 3 for 10, but 2 of them have gone for extra bases.
And that's really impressive. You can square the bat up like that anytime you do get hits. Carries 1-1's delivered. That misses low. So the count will go to 2 balls and 1 strike. 2 down, bottom of the first inning. Yet to see any score here at Coral Seymour Memorial Park. So McQuarrie comes set on the rubber. Winds and deals. This one is bounced right back and past McQuarrie and will roll into the outfield. So the Oilers get their first hit of the contest. And this is the game's first hit thanks to Chad Bible's single with 2 outs.
It wasn't hard contact against McQuarrie, just ball found a hole.
So Bible now up to 4 hits on the season as the cleanup man Ryan Cook steps in. Cook, if you remember in game 1 of this series, had a 3-run home run that really opened up that game 1 to push the Oilers to a 6-run inning as the first pitch from McQuarrie hits the lower part of the zone for strike 1. But Cook overall against the Miners hasn't done too well. Only 4 of 23, and those 3 RBIs all came from that home run. Second pitch from McQuarrie was outside. They check if he went. He did not, so the count will be moved to 2-0. McQuarrie working out of the stretch for the first time tonight. Bible on first has yet to steal a bag this year. McQuarrie from his chest. A breaking pitch. They check if he went. He did not. So Ryan Cook has worked the count to 2-1. With 2 outs here in the bottom of the first. Cook, so far on the series is only 2 of 11. One of those hits being that home run. So McQuarrie's 2-1 pitch is on the way. Misses outside. The count moved 3-1. So I guess that would be the scouting report for Cook. is to pitch to him outside.
Yeah, we've seen him a lot during these first 3 games. Now it's game 4, and we start to figure out each and every batter.
Though hitters count for Ryan Cook with 2 outs in the bottom of the first inning, there is a man on first for the Oilers. McQuarrie's 3-1 is on the way. Misses just low for ball 4. So the Oilers, after going down 2 straight, they've now put 2 aboard here with 2 down in the bottom of the first inning. They look for the game's first run. So after Cook draws his 17th walk of the season, it's going to bring up Brian Leonhardt, who has only played in 1 game of this series, and it was a pinch hit performance where he went 0 for 2. And we'll have a quick break as pitching coach Jeff Erlab makes a mound visit. I'd like to thank the official sponsor of the Matsu Miners internet broadcast, the Napa Auto Parts of Alaska, and owner Jim Ruda. Stop into one of your locally owned and operated Napa Auto Parts and ask about the Matsu Miners jersey giveaway. So stop in for your chance to win today. 2 outs, bottom of the first inning. No score yet between the Miners and the Oilers. But the Oilers with a runner in scoring position with 2 down for Brian Leonhardt. Leonhardt has drove in 6 RBIs this season. So the left-handed hitting first baseman has brought in a few, but only 11 hits so far on the campaign. So McQuarrie steps back on the rubber after the meeting. Steps off, pats himself on the chest, said, "My bad, need a quick break." Sort of run through the pitches again with Austin. Comes set his first pitch to Leonhardt, is dribbled over to short. Coming in to make the play is Drew Swift. His throw over to first is in time for out number 3. So the Oilers put McQuarrie into a bit of a sticky situation, but he works his way out of it. And we have no score through one inning of play on Matsu Miners Radio. Miners and Oilers have yet to crack the scoreboard through 1 inning of play. Tevin Murray on to work after setting down the Miners in order in the top of the first inning. He'll face Henson, Pinarini, and Hatcher, the 4, 5, 6 batters for the Matsu Miners. And we mentioned how good the Miners starting pitching has been against the Oilers. The Oilers, it's a bit of a different story. Through 24 and a third innings pitched, they have an 8.99 ERA. So their starters just not having a great go of it. But the Miners hitters have seen the Oilers starters multiple times, and it's shown. So the Miners also hitting very well the past 7 days with a 298 batting average and a 360 on base percentage. Driven in 37 runs to boot to that. So once we mentioned a beautiful day here in Kenai, this is the 3rd of 5 game series. Miners so far leading the series 2-1. And overall, the season series 4-3. So Spencer Henson will step up to the dish. Right-handed hitting first baseman. Henson has just been hot all season long. 30 hits on the year, which is good for second in the ABL. And his third batting average with a clip of 349 and has driven in 17 runs, which is good for 4th in the ABL. So Murray's first pitch of the second inning is fouled off to the right side and out of play. So Henson has dropped in the count 0-1. Henson, who just got a 8-game hitting streak snap last night, hasn't been hitting extremely well in this series. Only 2 of 13 with 3 RBIs. Murray's second pitch to Henson swung through. Counts moved to 0-2. Henson, he's dealing with a bit of a thumb problem on his left thumb. Just some irritation on that thumb. Said it's not affecting him. It can't get any worse. So still the same approach at the plate. Murray's 0-2, swung on and missed by Spencer Henson. Murray's now struck out 3 Miners batters through 1 1/3 innings pitched.
Now, that's a tough feat to do. The Miners are striking out at the lowest rate in the ABL. So to have 3 strikeouts this early in the game, you know that Murray's dealing.
So now the Miners with that lowest rate at 171 is the amount of times they've swung through or looked at strike threes. So Austin Pinerini will step in, a little lefty on lefty action here in the top of the second inning. Pinerini takes the ball right to that elbow, so he'll be aboard on a hit by pitch. And the Miners have their first runner of the game on.
And you never know what's going to spark an offense. You know, Pianarini getting on base with a hit by a pitch, could motivate a lot of people to drive them in.
Yeah, it really could. And the Miners, it almost seems they just need to see one guy get on, see one guy get a hit, whatever it may be. They just need to see it, and that can really get them going. That brings in another Mississippi State product, Josh Hatcher, also a left-handed batter. So Murray's first pitch to him is a fastball that misses high. Hatcher, this is just his 5th game of the season. And in the series so far, batting 2 of 12, but does have 2 RBIs. So the middle infield playing in. Corners are in as well as Hatcher swings through this 0-1-0 pitch. Counts now moved to 1-1. Hatcher with Pianarini at first. No score through as we're sit in the top of the second inning. Hatcher looks at another fastball that misses high. 2 balls and 1 strike with 1 out. Miners have won 5 out of their past 6 games, which has really propelled them to this 3-game lead over the Oilers. Murray's 2-1 misses high, so Hatcher's worked himself a hitter's count. Whereas the Oilers, really, the home field advantage has not been there. They've lost 5 out of their past 6 home games. So you always want to defend your home turf, but fortunately, it's just been not going that way for the Peninsula Oilers. Murray's 3-1 is smacked in between short and third, but diving over is Evan Berkey, and his throw down to first is not in time. So after a magnificent effort from Berkey, he unfortunately cannot finish off the play, and now the Miners have 2 runners on with 1 out in the top of the second inning.
Hatcher's just showing off his speed. Gets the bat on the ball, puts it in a place to make a tough play for Berkey, and is able to run it down.
So Hatcher's 6th hit of the season, now 6 of 20, as that brings up Tyler Bozzetti, the right-handed hitting third baseman. So the Miners threatening to score this game's first run with runners on first and second. Only 1 out. Murray's first pitch into Bozzetti just barely hits the high part of the zone for strike 1. Bozzetti comes into tonight batting .212 with a .330 on base percentage. Has driven in 6 runs. So Murray comes set. Is 0-1 to Bozzetti, misses high. So 1-1, really working that high part of the zone to Bozzetti. Bozzetti also has 7 doubles, which is good for 3rd best in the ABL. So Bozzetti really doing a good job of getting that pop in his bat. 1-1's on its way. Bozzetti swings through and fouls it straight back into the netting. He's now down in the count 1-2. Bozzetti struggling with the strikeouts of late, but has not had one in the past 2 games. Whereas he struck out in the 5 games prior to that, and doing a little better this time now on a little 2-game hit streak. Looks to continue that tonight. The 1-2 is a breaker that misses high. Didn't quite finish that one from Tevin Murray. We mentioned this is Murray's first time facing the Miners tonight. And the Miners, in their past 5 out of 6 games, those 5 wins, they're average beating opponents by 4.8 runs. So really, those games aren't that close as Bozzetti looks at another ball. He's worked the count full with 1 down. So they're really getting on teams early and then just adding to those leads, and then the pitching has just backed them up perfectly.
Well, pitching's been great against the Oilers over the past couple days, and the bats, they started to come alive.
Murray's 3-2 is on the way. Bozzetti swings through for strike number 3. So Murray now with 4 strikeouts on the game. But with 2 outs, the Miners are still threatening with runners on first and second, and that brings up Aaron Walters. and that is a name that the Oilers do not want to be heard announced in this series. So far through 2 games, Walters is batting 5 of 7 with 4 runs batted in. So he's really seeing the ball well here in Kenai.
And something really clicked with him, started to drive the ball. It's been line drive after line drive.
So the lefty on lefty matchup, Murray's first pitch into Walters is a fastball that hits the outside corner. So 2 outs, top of the second inning. 0-0 is your score. Murray trying to work his way out of a bit of a jam. The breaker is bounced in between first and second. Moving over to his left is Grant Wood. He won't get to it. Around third, trying to score is Pinarini. Kirk will not throw home as he is cut off by Leonhardt. And the Miners have driven in the game's first run, and Aaron Walters keeps his hitting success going.
But really, we mentioned in the pregame how fun it has been to watch the Miners. One Miner in particular is Aaron Walters. Like we said, he's been hitting the ball. It's been great to watch him go out there and play every day.
So now his 5th RBI in this series. That's 6 against the Oilers in total. And out of his 9 total RBIs, 6 of them have come against the Oilers, we just said. So really incredible in what he's doing against this team. So Drew Swift will step in, the right-hand hitting shortstop, with runners on the corners and 2 outs. First pitch from Murray misses high. The counts move to 1-0. So advancing all the way to third with Josh Hatcher on that hit from Aaron Walters. As Drew Swift steps in, Swift has gotten a hit his past 5 out of 6 games, where he's got a 318 batting average in that time. So bringing things back up as he fouls this one over to the right side. Counts now move to 1-1. Swift on the season batting .212 with a .273 on base percentage, and has driven in 12 RBIs, so doing a nice job of bringing runners home lower in the order. Murray's 1-1. Line foul over to the right and into that Oilers bullpen. So Swift has fallen behind in the count, 1 balls and 2 strikes, with 2 outs in the top of the second inning. Miners fresh lead, 1-0. As the first antics of the Electric Factory are happening, they're all standing up with their hands up. So Murray's 1-2. Misses inside. Walters is running. The throw down is not in time, and Josh Hatcher will run through the home plate bag for run number 2. So nice double steal for the Miners, rather. It seems as if they're going to call Walters out. That's quite interesting because Evan Berkey did not make the catch, it seemed. But third base umpire Scott Nolan says he was out. So that run will not score for the Miners, and they'll head into the bottom of the second inning with a 1-0 advantage over the Oilers. The Miners tack on the game's first run in the top of the second inning. As we stand corrected, Drew Swift swung through that pitch. It was a strikeout situation, so the throwdown did not matter, where Walters was stealing. So that was the third out, Drew Swift strikeout. And we're in the bottom of the second now, where Wood, Berkey, and Kirk are due up for the Oilers. They'll see Denver McQuarrie. And his first pitch misses low. The counts move to 1-0. McQuarrie got in a sticky situation with 2 runners on last inning, but worked his way out of it. And Wood batting .225 on the season. McQuarrie's second pitch It's high and in the zone. Misses. Go to 2-0. Wood also with the 310 on base percentage. But on the 2 games he's played in this series, only 1 of 8. Does have an RBI to add to that. Query misses high. Accounts now move to 3-0, so he'll look to hit the zone here, or there will be a walk drawn. So he takes a break off the rubber, steps in delivery. Wood, the right-hand hitting second baseman out of Murray State. Query's 3-0. This does hit the zone, so the count moves to 3 balls and 1 strike. So Wood struck out in 5 straight games before last night. The 3-1 from Wood is fouled straight back into the netting. The counts move to 3-2. And Wood has been struggling of late. Only 2 of his last 17 at bats. McQuarrie looks to set him down as there is a full count. He winds and fires. The 3-2 is popped up in the air behind us here in the box, so count will stay at full. And the Oilers, their batting average so far in the season, or in this series, I should say, is only 212. But looking to up that tonight if they want to outdo the Miners hitting. That's been doing quite well as Wood fouls it over and out of play on the right side. Whereas the Miners are hitting 293 so far this series, averaging 6.3 runs per game. Query looks in. The count is still full. His pitch looked at high for ball 4. That's his second walk issued on the game. And the Oilers get their leadoff man aboard.
That was a deep at bat for Grant Wood. He saw a lot of pitches. McQuarrie, the longer that bat goes, the better chances the hitter has in surviving and reaching the bases.
So Evan Berkey steps in, the right-handed hitting shortstop out of Cal State Bakersfield. And McQuarrie will work out of the stretch for the second straight inning. Bottom of the second, 1-0 is your score. Miners leading. McQuarrie from the stretch, his first pitch is bunted down the third base line. Coming in to make the play is Bozetti. His throw to first is in time for out number 1. So nice sacrifice bunt there from Evan Berkey. As Wood advances to second. As there's one down now in the bottom of the second.
Now the Oilers trading one at bat for moving the base runner over.
And the Miners have been okay with this all series long. We've seen last night and then the night prior, they will allow a run to score as long as they get the out. Not really intimidated too much by the bats of the Oilers. So Matthew Kirk steps in, the left-handed hitting right fielder, with a runner in scoring position and 1 out. McQuarrie's first pitch just misses low for ball 1. So McQuarrie standing in from the stretch, the Mississippi State Bulldog, just fresh off that College World Series appearance. His 1-0 is chopped over that first base line. Coming in to make the play by himself is Spencer Henson for out number 2. That does move Grant Wood another 90 feet. So the Oilers do have a chance that run and 2 outs here in the bottom of the second inning.
Well, now this is really the first test for Denver McQuarrie. How does he deal with runners on base? How does he deal with 190 feet away from scoring?
Well, last time McQuarrie was in a situation with a runner on third, he got a man to ground into a double play. So doesn't have that chance right now, but only needs 1 out, doesn't need the 2. And he'll do it against Paul Kunst, who skies one foul and out of play to the left side. Kunst, the right-handed hitter out of San Diego State, playing center field tonight. Comes in batting .220 and a .283 on base percentage. Has driven in 5 runs, walked 8 times. But his last RBI came on June 29th. McQuarrie comes set is 0-1. Fastball that misses away. Counts move to 1-1. 2 outs, bottom of the second inning. Miners leading the Oilers 1-0. Trying to extend this 3-game lead over the Oilers in the ABL. As we will have our final game of the series played tomorrow afternoon. And then the Miners will be on their way back to Palmer. McQuarrie, chest high, 1-1 is fouled straight back again. Count has moved to 1 ball and 2 strikes with 2 down. So McQuarrie coming to set down the Oilers after allowing a leadoff man on. As he stepped on the rubber, he is ready to go, not wasting any time.
And we talked about his intensity.
Looks in, get his pitch. The 1-2 pitch is on its way. Swung on and missed by Paul Kunst for out number 3. So Denver McQuarrie, for the second straight inning, works out of a jam in the minors. Still lead the Oilers 1-0 on Matsu Miners Radio. We're ready for the third inning of play between the Miners and the Oilers. The Miners hold the lead. And now the Miners have scored 20 times in the first 3 innings. And when doing so, they've been very successful throughout the rest of the game, holding a record of 16-4 when doing so. As I mentioned, it is 21st time now. They've done it 20 times before. So a little mishap with the stat right there. As the top of the orders do back up for the Miners, Quiggle, Wright, and Van Blake. They were set down in order last time by Tevin Murray, who was trying to redeem himself of his last start back on the 30th, where he was the losing pitcher, giving up 6 earned runs in the 3 and the 3rd innings. So Kona Quiggle will stand in from the left side of the dish, 0 for 1 tonight. Now is 4 of 13 for the series. Does have an RBI, however. And overall has been doing pretty well against the Oilers. Coming into tonight was 6 of 24 with 5 RBIs. So Mark Anthony Edwards will dust off the home plate, and we're ready to get going here in the top of the 3rd with the Miners leading 1-0. The Miners really doing most of their winning at home, where they're at 10-3, and on the road they're just got above 500 last night, sit at 8-7. As Murray's first pitch nails the outside corner for strike 1. The Oilers very similar to that. At home they 8-6, and then on the road they are 7-7. The 1-1 from Murray is looked at for a strike. Count is moved to 0-2. So Kona Quiggle has to protect now with 2 strikes, but he's been a very good 2-strike hitter. Murray's 1-2's on the way. Rung up by Mark Anthony Edwards for strike 3 and out number 1 of this 3rd inning.
And that pitch looked maybe a little bit too low and outside, but anything close you got to swing at.
Yeah, you really do. If there's even the slight chance that will be called for a strike, you got to throw the bat out there. The Kona Quiggle will walk back to the dugout, and Danny Wright will step in, batting from the right side. He is a switch hitter out of Southeast Missouri State. So Murray, as he was winding, tried a quick pitch Wright, who just stepped in the box, didn't have the hand raise, so theoretically he's allowed to pitch, but Wright did call time before that. Wright thought about drag bunting, but pulled it back as the pitch was foul, or rather, outside for a ball. So Danny Wright, who's been on fire this series, came into tonight 4 of 8 with a triple in yesterday's game. Looks at another ball. The counts move to 2-0. 1 down, top of the 3rd inning. Miners lead 1-0. Murray winds and delivers. Wright bounces it over to the shortstop, Berkey, and he won't be able to handle it, and Danny Wright will move over to first for the Miners' first base runner of this inning.
And, I was watching Danny Wright run down the line. As soon as he crossed first, he was busting all the way down. As soon as he touched the back, he kind of looked over like, where'd the ball go? and then he realized, oh, it was an error.
So there is a man on first now for the Miners with one out, and only for the second time tonight. Tevin Murray will work out of the stretch. He'll face the left-handed hitting Van Blake, who struck out back in the first inning. So Murray motions to the plate, and Van Blake rockets one foul down the right side. He was just about a half second too early from that being in fair territory. So Van Blake has also been doing quite a nice job coming into tonight, 7 of 15 against the Oilers as Murray checks back to first. The ball will just get by Leonhardt, but not enough that Danny Wright can advance to second. Danny Wright has a one stolen bag on the season. Does have some speed, and the Miners of late have been pulling a lot of hit and runs, trying to get things going. But already with the 1-0 advantage, and the Bats have looked quite well. They do have 2 hits through 2 innings. Murray's 0-1 on the way. Big bender that misses blown away for ball 1. So Caleb Van Blake out of UC Davis was a late addition to the Miners, but since standing in has been doing a great job. Even took a 4-game stint to go to a wedding as he chops one in between first and second, moving over to his left and trying to make the throw as Green would as he held on to it. Murray was not to the first base in time to try to get Caleb Van Blake. So now the Miners have back-to-back base runners on.
And there was really a running. It was a good job by Danny Wright. You know, he has the right to have the baseline when he's running down at second base. He kind of ran into Leonhardt, who had trouble going around him because that's what they have to do. So Van Blake able to run it out and beat everything out, but a very nice job by Danny Wright to help him out there.
And the rules are rules, and when you know them, you can use them to your advantage. That's how you do it. Runners on first and second for Spencer Henson with 1 out. Murray's first pitch to Henson is hit in between short and third. That's going to get into left. Coming up to make the play is Novus. His throw home will be in time as Danny Wright was held up at third. So now all the ducks are on the pond for the Miners with 1 out here in the top of the third inning.
You know, and Henson, ground ball, not that we've been accustomed to seeing out of him after seeing a couple line drives, but, you know, gets the job done. He gets a base hit here, and now maybe he can get another hitting streak going.
So Henson now has 10 hits against the Oilers. And the Miners' main RBI man, Austin Pinerini, has 20 on the season, which is good for second in the ABL. Has all the bases loaded for the Miners. So Murray's first pitch to Pinerini. He looks at it for a strike. So the count's 0-1. Corners are in for the Oilers. Middle infield playing double play depth. So if they could get one, it would get him out of this inning. So Murray from the belt is 0-1. Is swung at foul by Austin Pinerini. So he is now down in the count 0-2. Pinerini was hit by a pitch in the first pitch thrown to him back in the second inning. So this is the most pitches he's seen by Murray this game. Steps in Pinerini with that open stance. The 0-2 pitch is on its way. Pinerini will swing through for strike 3. So Murray is 1 out away from getting out of this bases loaded jam. 7th strikeout of the night for Tevin Murray. Really an incredible job of just fooling these minor hitters. But he'll have to face Josh Hatcher, who did get a hit off of him in his first at-bat back in the second inning. As the Miners looking to extend this 1-0 lead here in the top of the third inning. There is 2 outs, but all the bases are loaded. First pitch from Murray misses outside for ball 1.
Now, this is a big opportunity for Josh Hatcher. You know, a little base hit can get a big job done.
So Murray now up to 20 or 33 strikeouts on the season. His 1-0 misses inside as Hatcher sort of bounces back out of it. Counts move to 2-0. 2 outs. Miners looking to extend this 1-0 lead as Murray will take a little break off the mound. Murray was worked into a bit of a jam last inning, but got out of it. Only 1 run given up. So his 2-0 is delivered. Hatcher swings through that low fastball. The counts move to 2-1. So we got Hatcher a little fold there.
Well, it looks like the Miners, Pinerini, now Hatcher, their timing is off just a little bit. They're a little late on the fastball for Murray.
And they could just be eager to try to drive in these runs and get this lead going. The 2-1 that misses low and away. So Murray will have to deliver a strike, or the Miners will score another run by default as the bases are loaded with this 3-1 count. 2 outs, top of the third inning. Miners lead 1-0. Murray's pitch is on its way. Hatcher will look at it for ball 4. So the Miners drive in a run without even getting the bat on the ball, and they now lead the Oilers 2-0 in the top of the third inning.
No, good quality at bat from Josh Hatcher. He knew base hit or ball 4. Either one gets the job done. He takes his bases.
So for the third straight game, Josh Hatcher drives in a Matsu Miners run. This time it extends their lead over the Oilers 2-0, as we'll see a mound visit with pitching coach Ryan Duran. Matsu Miners Internet Broadcast is sponsored by the Napa Auto Parts of Alaska and owner Jim Ruda. Stop into one of your locally owned and operated Alaska Napa Auto Parts of Alaska and ask about the Matsu Miners jersey giveaway. So Tyler Bozetti will step in with 2 outs. The bases are still loaded, as Danny Wright was the man to come around to score on the walk.
I know it's interesting. Pianarini last inning, he was hit by a pitch, came around to score. Now an error. That's how Danny Wright got on base. He comes around to score. So a couple tough breaks for Murray.
So what a time to deliver your first walk of the game, as Bozetti swings through a strike 1 from Murray. That has to feel good after walking in a run. So 2 outs, top of the third inning. The Miners now leading the Oilers 2-0. So Murray's 0-1 on the way, swung through by Bozetti. He is now fallen 0-2, and that's sort of been Bozetti's downfall. A lot of pitches this year. But when he gets the hold of it, he has 7 doubles on the season, which is good for third best in the ABL. So Murray's 0-2 pitch swung on and missed by Tyler Bozetti. So Tevin Murray, after the bases were loaded with 1 out, only allows 1 run as it was walked in. So the Miners now lead the Oilers 2-0 as we head into the home half of the third inning on Matsu Miners Radio. The Miners loaded up the bases in the top half of this third inning with only 1 out, but unfortunately could only get 1 run out of it. That does, however, extend their lead 2-0 over the Oilers, as Zaleski, Novus, and Bible will step up to the dish in this inning. And now Tevin Murray, his past 6 outs that he's recorded have been strikeouts. So really, what an impressive feat from Murray.
Yeah, the Miners are definitely struggling to put the bat on the ball against Murray.
And he has now gathered up 8 strikeouts tonight through only 3 innings pitched. Denver McQuarrie still on the mound for the Miners. The right-handed thrower, his first pitch, gets Zaleski to swing through. So the count moves to 0-1. Zaleski 0 for 1 tonight in his first at-bat, grounded to Caleb Van Blake, who made a wonderful diving stop. So the 0-1 pitch misses low and away. Counts now move to 1-1. Mentioned Zaleski got a hit in every game this series, as the Oilers are struggling overall from the plate, as McQuarrie's 1-1 pitch is bounced foul, 1-2. As they are 5th in the ABL on offense, sitting at 205, and are also last in on base percentage with 293. Really not wonderful hitting numbers, but they are second, so they do find ways to win. The 1-2 is fouled back over to the left side. And runs scored, they currently sit third at 108. And the Miners do lead the ABL now with 134 runs scored. McQuarrie's 1-2 is on its way and misses low and away. So the count's tied up at 2. McQuarrie takes a step off the mound for a minute. So righty on lefty matchup to start this home half of the third inning. McQuarrie from the wind, his 2-2. Big breaker. Doesn't quite get him. McQuarrie actually bends over and kind of tilts his head to Mark Anthony Edwards and says, "What?" Nevertheless, count has been worked full by Zach Zaleski. So McQuarrie will have to regain his composure on the rubber. His pitch. It misses low with the fastball. So McQuarrie, two pitches that he believed were strikes were called balls by Mark Anthony Edwards. And he's walked the Oilers leadoff man now in back-to-back innings. And it's his third walk issued of the game. McQuarrie, that's his only 3 walks of the season, as this is just his second appearance. His first was in relief, where he just came in for an inning. So Ryan Novus stands in, the right-handed hitting left fielder. Struck out in his first at-bat, but now has a runner on first with nobody out. Barry's first pitch misses high, 1-0. And the Miners are doing just an awesome job on the mound, holding the hitters at only 201 against them on their pitching. When you can hold a team like that, it's really hard to generate runs.
Yeah, it is. They also lead in strikeouts and also in walks. So whenever that happens, batting averages are going to come down a little bit.
So the 0-1 is fouled, or rather 1-0 is fouled back. The count has moved to 1-1, and the Miners only allowing 2.69 earned runs per game, or an earned run average of 2.69, which is lowest in the ABL. So they lead the ABL in a lot of categories, whether it be hitting or pitching. There is a man on the move. Pinarini's throw down. Now second guessing himself is Zaleski, who's caught up in a pickle. Henson back to Van Blake. Van Blake just decides to run him down for out number 1 of the innings. So really weird there is that Zaleski just kind of gave up halfway through running down, as a hit and run scenario may have been on, as I think it was, as third base coach and skipper Kyle Brown has a chat with Novus. Nevertheless, that is good. Works out for the Miners, as they have 1 out now in the top of the third inning.
Well, I think that's a 2-4 to 3-4 putout for caught stealing.
Yeah, so great teamwork there for the Miners, and Devin McQuarrie is ahead in the count, 1-2. His pitch is on the way, a breaking ball that misses in the dirt. So the count is tied up at 2. So Novus, the right-handed hitter, after what he did probably miss a sign of a hit and run, is now tied up in the count at 2-2. Query winds and fires. It's grounded over to short. Coming in is Drew Swift. His throw across the diamond is in time for out number 2. So McQuarrie now with 2 outs in this inning after walking the leadoff man. But thanks to a strong throw and sort of a second guessing by Zaleski, he got the first out, and now getting Ryan Novus to ground out. And that's going to bring up Chad Bible, who has the only hit for the Oilers tonight with his first at bat. And now has 4 hits on the season in just his 4th game played. First pitch from McQuarrie is a fastball that misses low. The count's moved to 1-0. So the right-handed hitting Bible out of San Diego State. This one is blasted into left field. Moving back and looking at it go over the wall is Danny Wright. And Chad Bible hits his first home run of the season and to give the Oilers their first run of this ball game. They trail 2-1. Bible saw a fastball right over the plate and absolutely teed that one up.
You know, that was kind of a courtesy run back from Danny Wright. He knew that wall was blasted. Kind of just turned around, took a couple trots to the wall, and that one was hit a long distance.
So the 10th home run on the season for the Oilers comes in a big moment, as they now just trail the Miners by 1 and 2-1. So Ryan Cook, the man who leads the ABL in home runs, now steps in. Right-handed catcher is 0 for 0 tonight as he walked in his first at bat. So McQuarrie trying to get out of this inning without any more runs being brought across the plate. Is 1-0. Misses high with a fastball, so the count's moved to 2-0. As Austin Pinarini will have a chat with his pitcher. Pinarini, the veteran guy, knows how to calm down his pitchers and give them wise words of advice.
And really, the caught stealing was huge, thanks in part to Pinarini, because that would have been a 2-run homer, and this one's tied. But now only one comes across with a solo homer.
And the starting pitching has been dominant for the Miners. And right now, it's not getting too out of hand. Just one run given up. If that's all the Miners sacrifice tonight, no one will complain about that. So the 2-0 is a pitch that nails the lower part of the zone. The count's moved to 2 balls and 1 strike. We have 2 outs in the bottom of the third inning. The Oilers tacked on their first run thanks to a home run to Chad Bible. McQuarrie winds and delivers. This one skied foul and behind us in the box. So tied up at 2. Denver McQuarrie looks to get out of this inning. So that was Chad Bible's first home run of the season. But with no one on, it only brought across 1 run. 2-2 is a breaking pitch that misses outside, so the count has been worked full by Ryan Cook. You have to be careful pitching to Ryan Cook. With those 5 home runs on the season, also has 6 doubles. But we mentioned not doing too well against the Miners, only 4 of 23. A payoff pitch misses low and in the dirt. That'll roll to the backstop, and Ryan Cook will be on with 2 outs in the third inning. Getting ahead in that count early, McQuarrie loses Cook, and that will call for a mound visit from Jeff Erlab. Matsu Miners are brought to you by Matsu Miners Internet Broadcast is brought to you by the Napa Auto Parts of Alaska and owner Jim Ruda. So McQuarrie's next up is Leonhardt, who grounded out. So Jeff Erlab will have some chats on how he wants to pitch to him, probably calm down his guy, as no one is up in the Miners' pen. As they trust in McQuarrie to get out of this. And only 1 run given up. It's not the end of the world. When you give up a home run and it's only a solo shot, that almost hurts as bad as a base hit that drives in 1 run.
Yes, it does. And, I'm looking at the stats right now. The one thing that Denver has got to really change is only 28 strikes to 26 balls. So the strikes to ball ratio is not very good right now. And, if he's going to go a little deeper in this game, it's got to be a lot more strikes.
Yeah, and that's something we noticed back in Mississippi State this past season. Had 26 walks opposed to 31 strikeouts. So he would like to get his strikeout ratio a little higher. Nevertheless, there is 2 outs, bottom of the third inning, runner on first for the Oilers. Brian Leonhardt steps in from the left side of the dish. Prairie's first pitch is in there for a strike. Seemed to pull back a little more and have a little more zip on that fastball. So 0-1 is the count with 2 outs. McQuarrie from the chest. Is a fastball that misses low this time, so the count is tied up at 1. Leonhardt is 0 for 1 tonight. Grounded to Drew Swift in his last at-bat. As Ryan Cook on first, who drew a walk. McQuarrie's 1-1. Kicks and deals. Swung on and missed by Brian Leonhardt. So he is fallen in the count 1-2. Cook did as well, but he worked his way full and then drawed the walk. And the Oilers, who are really looking for runs, only scored 18 in the past 6 games. So the 1-2 from McQuarrie just misses low. Counts tied up at 2. And the Oilers really not a wonderful hitting team that we mentioned, 5th in the ABL with a 205 average. They only have 3 batters batting over 250. McQuarrie, his 2-2, swung on and missed by Brian Leonhardt, but not before the Oilers score their first run thanks to a solo shot by Chad Bible. Miners 2, Oilers 1. We'll head into the 4, 5, and 6 innings where Connor Mills will be on the call for that one on Matsu Miners Radio.
It's the top of the fourth inning. The Miners are leading the Peninsula Oilers by a score of 2-1. One run came in the bottom of the third inning thanks to a Chad Bible solo home run. Leading things off here in the top of the fourth, Aaron Walters will be followed by Drew Swift and Kona Quiggle. Walters, his last time up, had an RBI single off of Tevin Murray as the first pitch hits a low and outside corner for strike one. Walters came into today batting .257, but has been on a tear as of late. Going 3 for 4 in yesterday's game and takes the pitch outside for ball one. Count at 1 ball and 1 strike. Murray's ready. Breaking ball misses low and inside for ball two. And 2-1 for Murray. Swung on. Line drive out into right center field. That one's going to one hop and go all the way back to the wall. Rounding first and heading for second is Aaron Walters, and he pulls up standing. A leadoff double for Aaron Walters, and man, oh man, can this guy hit.
Yeah, especially against the Oilers in this series. Now up to 7 hits against the Oilers. Absolutely been incredible. Long road trip. Wouldn't expect some guys to get super hot, but Walters, the change of scenery, he's quite enjoyed. Definitely been on fire.
And also on fire is that electric factory down the left field line in the Miners bullpen. A double for Walters causes them all to stand up and cheer. As now Drew Swift stands in from the right side. Swift today, he struck out swinging as he attempts to lay down a bunt, pulls it back. It's going to be a ball. 1 ball, no strikes, nobody out with the runner on second base. Here in the top of the fourth inning, Miners leading the Oilers by a score of 2-1. And the out coming to Swift came with runners on the corners as he attempts another bunt here, lays it down along the first base line. Fielding it is Murray and throwing to first in time for the first out. A sacrifice bunt moves Aaron Walters from second to third as the Miners have 1 run in 90 feet away from scoring.
Yeah, and that beautiful bunt there by Drew Swift. Simply put it where there was no play, able to be thrown over to third. Walters does have a lot of speed, and that brings back up the tough top of the Miners order.
So Kona Quiggle has been rung up twice today. A strikeout swinging and then a strikeout looking. As first pitch is a breaking ball in there for a called strike. Murray has his breaking stuff working today, as he's been able to get his curveball and off-speed pitches in the zone. The 0-1 for Murray is looked at on the lower and outside corner on Kona Quiggle, so the count goes to no balls and 2 strikes, and he was in this position in his last at-bat. Fastball hit the low outside corner, and that's a pitch he's been struggling with as of late. But coming into today, batting .311. So not a huge struggle as the 0-2 is on the way. Swung on and missed at a high breaking ball. So Kona Quiggle struck out 3 times today. As now with 2 outs, the task is up to Danny Wright.
It's really rare for Kona Quiggle to strike out that much in one game. Just struggling to see Murray's pitches right now, but he'll just have to take a few deep breaths, talk to his other guys, and see how he can start getting on the hit train.
Well, it might not just be Kona Quiggle, as now that was Murray's 9th strikeouts in the game, and we're only here on the top of the fourth as Danny Wright takes a ball on the inside corner for a called strike. He looks back to Mark Anthony Edwards to double check, but it will remain no balls and 1 strike. With 2 outs here in the top of the 4th. Runner on third. The 0-1 taken inside. That one goes all the way to the backstop. Coming in to score is Aaron Walters as the Miners extend their lead. It's now Matsu 3 and the Peninsula Oilers 1. So without the swing of the bat, the Miners do get a run in.
Yeah, that's been multiple times now that the Miners have done so. Just really Murray just losing his sort of command when Miners have that threat there. Has to do a better job of that if they want to stay in this game.
1-1 the count into Danny Wright. The pitcher Murray swung on and fouled straight back over the press box. And that's huge for Aaron Walters. So Walters led things off here in the top of the 4th with a double. Drew Swift bunted him over from second to third. And then in the Danny Wright at bat, which is ongoing, a pass ball brings him in to score. So it's the Miners 3 and the Oilers 1. 1-2 the count to Danny Wright. Swing and a miss. Make it double digits for Tevin Murray. 10 strikeouts on the day. As that'll do it here in the top of the 4th inning. Miners 3, the Oilers 1. We're heading into the home half of the 4th inning. You're listening to the Matsu Miners on the Miner Radio. It's the bottom of the 4th inning. Grant Wood would lead things off here against Denver McQuarrie. McQuarrie giving a home run up to Chad Bible in the bottom of the 3rd as we're here in the bottom of the 4th. First pitch into Wood is low and inside for ball 1. Miners extended their lead in the top half of the 4th inning as they lead 3-1. The pitch from McQuarrie is lined out down the line in right field, and that one's going to get down for a single. Josh Hatcher has it, throws it into the infield. So 2 pitches in, Grant Wood has a base hit and is on base for the 2nd time today.
Yeah, he saw the low inside fastball and decided to attack it. Did a nice job of putting one in where no one was.
So Evan Berkey, who had a sacrifice bunt, will not bat here, as this is Calvin Ferris coming in to pinch hit for the shortstop, Evan Berkey. So Calvin Ferris, left-hand batter, stands in against Denver McQuarrie. First pitch, swinging, fouling off and to the left side. Ferris from El Cajon, California, a sophomore there, and one of the smartest here in the ABL, attending Brown University, an Ivy Leaguer.
Yeah, definitely have to have the brain power to enter the Ivy League. You got to wonder why the pinch hits so early in this game.
Well, he attempts a bunt, lets it go by, pulls it back as the count goes to 1 ball and 1 strike. Charging in would have been third baseman Tyler Bassetti. Ferris, another long look down to his coach, Kyle Brown. as he's ready now. Slightly open stance for him. As McCurry's pitch swung on, line drive right up the middle, almost hit McQuarrie. A base hit into center field off of the bat of the pinch hitter, Calvin Ferris. With nobody out here in the bottom of the fourth inning, the Peninsula Oilers are in business with runners on first and second base.
Yeah, they really are, and I guess that's why you bring in the pinch hitter Ferris. He just saw that one and put the lumber on it right where he needed it to be to put it up the middle for a base hit.
Ferris now batting 191 as he's inching closer to the Mendoza line as Matthew Kirk now stands in. Kirk so far today grounded out to first base. It was a 3 unassisted. As now he bats in with runners on first and second base. Miners leading the Oilers 3-1. McQuarrie pitching from the stretch. He looks in and deals a bunt that is popped up but foul. As the third baseman Tyler Bassetti will pick it up. Kirk on the season batting 131. Has 8 hits and 61 at-bats. 4 RBIs, 4 walks, 13 strikeouts. All one the count. McQuarrie's pitch. This one's bunted, going and ranging into foul territory. Picked up by the catcher, Austin Pianarini, before the ball could have a mind of its own, as it's picked up foul. So no balls, 2 strikes, and nobody out here in the bottom of the fourth inning.
Yeah, Pianarini did the smart job there right when it rolled into the foul territory. Grab it before any spin could have it roll back into fair territory.
The count to Matthew Kirk. No balls, 2 strikes, and nobody out. Runners on first and second base. Kirk stands in. Outfield playing him straight away. Infield corners are in. McQuarrie's ready, and he deals a bunt. This one goes foul, and it will be out. Matthew Kirk unable to get the job done, as that's the first out here in the bottom of the fourth inning. Kirk attempted a bunt with 2 strikes. It will be a strikeout for him. As Paul Kuntz will come to the plate.
Surprisingly, they didn't let Kirk just swing with 2 outs. I mean, this is a 1-run ball game, so every at-bat really matters right now. So just an interesting choice of strategy right there from the Oilers.
I guess they were worried about a ground ball double play. Nonetheless, Paul Kuntz at the plate. He takes fastball low and inside. So 1 ball, no strikes, and 1 out. Paul Kuntz looking down at third base coach Kyle Brown, asked him to repeat the signs. Want another count. McQuarrie's ready. He deals into Pianarini. A bunt that's pulled back, gets away from Pianarini. As the Oilers are now on to Denver.
McQuarrie on that as Kuntz pulled the bunt right away and then kind of pulled it back. So a lot of motion in front of Pianarini's eyes. May have been tough to see that pitch come in.
Well, it looked like Pianarini was set up middle in, and the ball went outside. So a little location issue from McQuarrie on that pitch, but the count now, 2 balls and no strikes. The 2-0 on the way, a fastball low and inside. Denver McQuarrie near the strike here to not walk Paul Kuntz.
Yeah, he really does. But luckily, there is a first base open. So if he were happen to miss on this pitch, it wouldn't be the end of the world.
3 balls, no strikes, 1 out. Runners on first, second, and third with the walk. McQuarrie unable to throw a strike to Paul Kuntz. 4 straight balls, loads the bases. As now the manager, Ben Taylor, will take a walk out to the mound. And it looks like we will see a pitching change. Ben Taylor has taken the ball. Denver McQuarrie is leaving the mound, but he will leave with the lead intact. It's the Miners 3, the Oilers 1. We'll tell you who's coming up to the mound when we return. You're listening to the Mat-Su Miners on the Miner Radio. It's the bottom of the fourth inning. Bases are loaded. And called on to pull a rabbit out of his hat is the pitcher, Sean Hughes. Hughes in relief for Denver McQuarrie. McQuarrie so far today in his first start, he went 3 1/3 of an inning, allowed 4 hits, 1 run. It was earned, 4 walks, and 4 strikeouts. But the runners on base were all his responsibility, as Sean Hughes will look to get through the top of the order. Zach Zaleski and Ryan Novus.
Hughes has been a force out of this Miners bullpen, which has been pretty reliable through the season. 102 innings pitched for only a 2.16 ERA.
And for Hughes, his last outing was on June 29th against the Pilots, where he pitched a relatively uneventful inning, allowed 2 walks, got a strikeout, though. As now he's facing the Oilers. Hughes in against Zach Zaleski. Zaleski is 0 for 1 today, as the first pitch in was for a ball. And for Hughes, 1 win, no losses, an ERA of 5.78 on the season. A rocky start for him, but he's been good as of late, as the fastball is low and away. 2 balls, no strikes, and 1 out here in the bottom of the fourth inning, and the bases are loaded for the Oilers. So Sean Hughes open for a strike. The pitch outside for ball 3. Hughes pitched way outside, and now he'll have to dial it in against Zach Zaleski.
Yeah, Sean's just going to have to trust his stuff right here and believe that he can use all of his pitches to get an out.
The pitch on the outside corner for strike 1. 3-1 the count. So Hughes, a tall battle to climb. He needs 2 outs here, as the count is 3 balls and 1 strike with 1 out. The pitch from Sean Hughes, a fastball hits. No, it does not. Mark Anthony Edwards went to gesture as if it was a strike, but then pulled it back. So with the walk, the Oilers get 1 run closer. It's the Miners 3, the Peninsula Oilers 2 here in the bottom of the fourth inning, with 1 out and the bases are still loaded.
Yeah, just real tough there from Hughes. Barely missed on the outer edge. And that's the part that you really want to work, especially facing a left-handed hitter. Fortunately, just didn't quite get the call.
So now Ryan Novus at the plate. Hughes' first pitch is a fastball low and inside for ball one. Not the way you want to start Ryan Novus as well. So Sean Hughes out of Boston College and Williamsburg, Virginia, looking to help out the Miners and escape this inning with the lead as a breaking ball hits the zone for strike one. 1 ball, 1 strike, 1 out, 1 runner on each base.
And that's got to be a pitch that Sean Hughes can fall back on, is that slider. He's very dominant with it. It's very tough to hit as a batter, whether you're righty or a lefty.
1-1 the count into Ryan Novus. The pitch from Sean Hughes, a breaking ball that is popped up, foul territory. That's going to go into the bleachers and off of their clubhouse, almost hitting the dish satellite. So now Sean Hughes ahead in the count on Ryan Novus. 1 ball, 2 strikes with 1 out, and the base is loaded. It's a 3-2 lead. Miners over the Oilers. The pitch into Ryan Novus is swung on. This one is flared out into right field, and it will be caught by Spencer Henson. What a play from the first baseman, Spencer Henson, as he makes an over-the-head basket catch running into fair territory along the right field line.
Even more important about that, it wasn't such a long hit, and Henson did a nice job of automatically turning around that it froze up Calvin Ferris over on third. So that definitely saved a run right there. And now Sean Hughes, if he can get out of this with only giving up 1 run, that'd be very huge.
So now a huge task, and a man who hit a home run his last time up. That's Chad Bible, the designated hitter. Bible so far today, 2 for 2, a single and a home run as he takes a first pitch off speed for strike one. A good breaking ball from Sean Hughes. No balls, 1 strike, 2 outs, runners at every base. Hughes pitching from the stretch, and he's ready. The breaking ball almost breaks in and hits him. And with that, the catcher, Austin Pianarini, will go to the mound.
It's a good time to meet with Hughes. His adrenaline had to have been gone off the charts coming into this game. Getting the 1 out, Pianarini knows how important it is to get this next out, especially with the tying run just 90 feet away. So every pitch is very, very important.
And once again, Sean Hughes came in relief for Denver McQuarrie, getting his first start in a Miners uniform today. 1-1 the count into Chad Bible. The pitch from Hughes swung on, line drive right back at Sean Hughes, and the side is retired. So Sean Hughes walks 1, gives up 1, but not much else as he escapes with the lead. It's the Miners 3, the Oilers 2. We're heading into the top of the 5th inning, and you're listening to the Mat-Su Miners on the Miner Radio. Caleb Van Blake will lead things off here in the top of the 5th inning. Miners are leading the Peninsula Oilers by a score of 3-2, as first pitch is high and away from Tevin Murray. So the book has been closed on Denver McQuarrie, who went 3 1/3 of an innings pitched, allowed 4 hits, 2 runs. Both were earned as the hit by pitch leader, Caleb Van Blake, has been hit again. For some reason, Van Blake has come into the season and everybody has been hitting him. 5 hit by pitches so far. That leads the Matsu Miners. So now the home plate umpire, Mark Anthony Edwards, is going to walk out to the mound. Tevin Murray, I guess he's going to get his pick at which ball he wants. Better than just throwing balls back and forth and, guessing which one he might want. And with the hit by pitch, and the 5th one on the season for Caleb Van Blake, brings up Spencer Henson. Henson, of course, made a great play in the bottom of the 4th inning, saving a run. A over the shoulder, over the head basket catch.
Yeah, that could be huge where runs seem to be coming out of premium in this game.
Spencer Henson, his bat is lost, and the ground ball through shortstop is good. So a ground ball, bat flying hit for Spencer Henson.
Yeah, the bat definitely went farther than the ball there, believe it or not. That might have been that was one of the craziest moments I've ever seen in the game of baseball.
And now I'm seeing pitcher Ian Churchill walk with a piece of lumber in his hand, and that makes a little bit more sense. Spencer Henson, of course, sure-handed. I didn't expect him to throw a wooden bat away, and a broken bat base hit for Henson as runners are now on first and second base against Tevin Murray. Miners have the lead 3-2. Van Blake at seconds dancing a little bit. Austin Pinarini takes a pitch for Murray high and inside for ball 1. So to recap, Caleb Van Blake, he was hit by a pitch. Spencer Henson broke his bat, a ground ball through the shortstop, Berkey. Berkey was playing there earlier on in the game and was pinch hit for, so we'll get a defensive replacement for you. And it looks like Paul Kunst as Austin Pinarini fouls one off towards the left side. It goes by the Miners bullpen and the tarp over there. So Paul Kunst comes from center field into shortstop. And the man who pinch hit for Evan Berkey was Calvin Ferris. We'll assume he's out in center field as a spin around from Tevin Murray is checking over to Caleb Van Blake, who's been making some noise over there. Isn't going anywhere, but tries to get in the mind. The 1-1 is swung on and fouled off left side, out of play. So a hit by pitch, a single, and that's where we're at now. Nobody out here in the top of the 5th inning. The count, 1 ball, 2 strikes to Austin Pinarini.
Pinarini's been clutch in moments like this. We'll see if he can continue to add to his resume.
1-2 for Murray, outside for ball 2. And for Pino, he was hit by a pitch back in the 2nd and then struck out in the 3rd. 2-2 count, nobody out. Pinarini at the plate. They look back to second for Murray, now to the plate. He's low and inside for ball 3. So a full count, nobody out. Runners on first and second as the Miners look to get control of this game. The 3-2 for Murray is swung on. Ground ball over to second baseman Wood. Toss over to first in time. Tossed over to second, then thrown to first in time for a 4-6-3 double play. So Austin Pinarini grounds into a double play here on the top of the 5th. And now there are 2 outs for Josh Hatcher. And it looks like the pitching coach, Ryan Duran, will have a conversation with his pitcher, Tevin Murray, out on the mound. It looked like this inning could get away from Murray, but a 4-6-3 double play erases any worries from his thoughts.
Yeah, it really does. But luckily for the Miners, another run is just 90 feet away. Unfortunately, with the 2 outs, it's much tougher to get, but still a lot of confidence in knowing that you have a great chance to drive in another run.
So Josh Hatcher, who had a single back in the second, walked in the third, looked to get on base here again. First pitch in is a ball that nearly escapes the catcher Cook, but he's able to corral it in as the count is 1 ball, no strikes.
Yeah, he did a nice job. That's definitely a run saver right there. You have to be a brick wall in situations like that.
Miners have scored runs in the second, third, and fourth, as this one is fouled off from Josh Hatcher. 1-1 the count. The Oilers responded back in the third and fourth. We're here in the top of the fifth. The score, Miners 3, the Oilers 2. 1-1 the count into Josh Hatcher is outside. And a little fake from the catcher, Ryan Cook. Tried to get Van Blake off guard as he faked as if the ball went to the backstop. Van Blake not biting.
Yeah,
2 balls, 1 strike to count.
Van Blake, definitely a veteran player. Wouldn't realize that. Hatcher is the man you want to play right now. Has gotten an RBI in the past 3 games.
2-1. Josh Hatcher swings and fouls it straight back. So now 2 outs and a 2-2 count here in the top of the fifth inning. Devin Murray looking to get out of this scoreless. His first scoreless inning since the second inning. The 2-2 for Murray. A ball that bounces away from the catcher Cook, and the Miners will still tack on a run. So now it's the Miners 4, the Peninsula Oilers 2. A breaking ball just bounced. Maybe it caught home plate, but it bounced high and far away from the catcher Ryan Cook.
That's now the 3rd straight run that the Miners have scored thanks to a passed ball.
As this one's grounded over towards the right side, making a diving play is the second baseman, Grant Wood. Gets on his knees, a tip of the cap from Josh Hatcher, and the Miners are retired here in the top of the fifth inning, but they do score a run. Van Blake was hit by a pitch, comes around to score. It's the Miners 4, the Oilers 2. We're going into the bottom of the fifth. You're listening to the Matsu Miners on the Miner Radio. Ryan Cook will lead things off here in the bottom of the fifth inning. Sean Hughes still on the mound as a breaking ball hits the zone for strike 1. It will be Ryan Cook, Brian Leonhardt, and Grant Wood, who made a tremendous play to end the top of the fifth as another ball is breaking, and this one missed. Count goes even to Ryan Cook, 1-1.
He was really going to trust that breaking ball, especially with no one on. He can sort of experiment on what pitches he wants to use.
Third pitch on the way. A fastball misses low and inside. 2 balls and 1 strike with nobody out. Here in the bottom of the 5th inning. Miners leading the Oilers by a score of 4-2. Pitch from Hughes. Fastball just a bit inside. 3 balls and 1 strike with nobody out. The pitch, this one hits the zone. Full count into Ryan Cook. The 3-2 from Sean Hughes swung on and fouled back and towards the left side.
Really nice effort there from Cook to keep this at bat alive. That was a tough pitch to get the lumber on, but he did a nice job doing so.
So the count remains 3 balls, 2 strikes, nobody out here in the bottom of the 5th inning. The pitch from Sean Hughes, a breaking ball, hits the strike zone for strike 3 called. A nice pitch from Sean Hughes. Gets one of the most dangerous hitters in the ABL, and Ryan Cook to freeze up.
Yeah, he really did. Cook didn't really have anything to do on that one. Mark-Anthony Edwards with the easy call, striking him out.
Breaking ball is working for Sean Hughes today, as now he'll face Brian Leonhardt. Leonhardt 0 for 2, a ground ball over to short, and a strikeout swinging back in the 3rd. Out. Outfield straight away, infield playing back. Brian Leonhardt afterwards. The opponent's batting average coming into today, they're batting .201. As that one's fouled off. As opposed to the Oilers. Oilers are allowing hitters to bat .246 as a fastball misses outside from Sean Hughes. 3-1 the count with 1 out.
You know, 3 times these two teams in this 7-game series, games have come down to 2 or less.
Breaking ball looked at by Leonhardt for a strike. Another full count. Back to back. Ryan Cook, now Brian Leonhardt. The 3-2 from Hughes. This one outside for ball 4. So Sean Hughes trying to whip the curveball in. Unable to do so. As that's an out.
Yeah, real tough move there from Hughes. Interesting that he's going with the breaking ball on that pitch.
Well, coming out from the dugout was manager Ben Taylor, and it looks like he had some choice words to tell him.
Yeah, he was probably just a little frustrated with Sean Hughes's pitch selection right there. Probably want him to go with a fastball, which he has a little more control of. Nevertheless, that is only 1 runner on, and the Miners do have a chance for a double play now.
Taylor has kind of taken Sean Hughes under his wing. After the rocky start in the beginning, he was riding him hard a little bit, and the results paid off as Hughes has turned his season around from back then all the way to now. As Grant Wood stands in, takes first pitch for a ball, 1-0.
Yeah, so Hughes will really just work to pitch to contact now and try to double up the Oilers.
Curveball misses inside, 2 balls, no strikes, and 1 out.
Yeah, that was a real close pitch there from Hughes.
Pitch into Wood. Fastball misses inside. So 3 straight balls after the manager, Ben Taylor, comes out and talks with Sean Hughes. 3 balls, no strikes, 1 out here in the bottom of the 5th inning with a runner on first base. Sean Hughes with the hold. He deals. Fastball inside. Ball 4. Back-to-back walks from Sean Hughes here in the bottom of the 5th. And now the manager, Ben Taylor, is coming out again. We'll see a pitching change. So Sean Hughes' day is done. We'll let you know what the stats are and who the new pitcher is when we return. It's the Miners 4, The Oilers 2 here in the bottom of the fifth inning. We're still here in the bottom of the fifth inning. New pitcher on the mound, Noah Cordova. He comes in relief for Sean Hughes. Hughes today allowed, or pitched 1 inning, has not allowed any hits, no runs, but the runners on first and second are his responsibility. Walked 3 and struck out 1. As the 6'6 Noah Cordova stands on the mound out of Chandler Gilbert Community College in Arizona. First pitch into Calvin Ferris is a strike. No balls, 1 strike, and 1 out. Runners on first and second here in the bottom of the fifth. Cordova looks back. Now at Pianarini. Swing and a miss from Ferris. Cordova ahead in the count. No balls, 2 strikes now. And for Cordova, a ERA of 1.76. Started 1 game, but his bread and butter is coming in relief appearances. 15 and a third innings pitched, 7 strikeouts, 9 walks, 8 hits. Cordova ahead in the count, 0-2. The pitch outside, ball 1.
And Cordova is definitely every bit of 6'6". If you ever stand next to him, you'll definitely understand that. Especially on the basketball court, he swats about anything that comes his direction.
The 1-2 count into Calvin Ferris. Cordova on the way, swung on and missed, strike 3. So Cordova comes in relief for Sean Hughes. And just like in basketball, he swats that one away.
Yeah, really nice breaking ball there from Cordova. He started that real high, and then trying to time it up was Ferris, but unfortunately it was just too late by the time that thing dive bombed into the zone.
I say swats because I believe you played basketball against him a little earlier in the day.
Definitely took a block. Yep.
Well, now there are 2 outs. Runners on first and second. First pitch swinging through the hole. Diving and making the stop is Caleb Van Blake, who gets up, throws it to second base where Drew Swift was waiting for him. What a play. Caleb Van Blake. He's been full of them today. A nice 4-6 put out, as that's the end of the inning. No runs, no hits, no errors, 2 left on base. Noah Cordova comes in and shuts things down. It's the Miners 4, the Oilers 2. We're heading into the top of the 6th inning. You're listening to the Mat-Su Miners on the Miner Radio. Tyler Bassetti will lead things off here in the top of the sixth inning, where the Miners lead 4-2. New man on the mound, Andrew Lopez. He will relieve Tevin Murray. As first pitch swinging is Tyler Bassetti, and he lines it right over the shortstop for a base hit. So Bassetti looking to snap out of the funk. He's able to do so against Aaron Lopez.
Yeah, maybe a new face and new arm Bozetti was facing helped him out in a good way. And Lopez definitely left that too far over the plate with his first pitch of the game.
So now with that, the hottest man in the Miners lineup, Aaron Walters. He's 2 for 2 today with a single and a double. Double coming in the fourth inning as first pitch swinging fouls it off. And pitching coach Jeff Erlab, now at first base, was unable to get a hand on it.
As it seems like Aaron Walters may have cracked his bat as he heads back to the dugout for a new one.
Well, I guess that's a little disappointing as he's like that bat.
Yeah, he's been doing very well with it.
3 for 4 yesterday, 2 for 2 today. We'll see how Aaron Walters does with the new bat. As there's a runner on first base for the Matsu Miners and Tyler Bassetti. Nobody out here in the top of the sixth inning. The Miners have scored 1 run in each inning since the top of the second. The 0-1 is swung on and fouled off towards the left side. So Aaron Walters down in the count, no balls, 2 strikes with nobody out. Walters standing in. Lopez pitching from the stretch. And he's going to check over to Bassetti at first, who goes back standing.
You have to keep careful watch on Bozetti. He does have a lot of speed. Only 3 stolen bases on the year, but once he gets going, it's hard to stop.
So Lopez is ready now, ahead on Aaron Walters. No balls, 2 strikes. A pitch in is jam job, flared out into left field. The shortstop, Paul Kunst, is able to run out and get it. A nice distance for him to run, and a good play from Paul Kunst.
Yeah, was a nice job of Walters showing off his strength right there. Was jammed, but still poked it out in the shallow left field. Nice base running from Tyler Bozetti as well, who only went about halfway. So either if it was caught or wasn't caught, he'd be able to move to second. And if it was caught, he could head back to first.
So Drew Swift, who's had a hit in his past 5 of 6 games, stands in, looking for his first hit today as a fastball on the outside corner is good for strike 1. And Lopez out of Chico State, right-hand thrower, a junior there, is 2-0 on the season. Has come in all relief appearances, 11 of them. Has a second ball is a breaking pitch, getting Drew Swift to swing at it. No balls, 2 strikes, 1 out. Has 1 save, pitched 19 and 2/3 of an inning, walked 12, and has allowed 16 hits. The 0-2 from Lopez, high to Drew Swift for ball 1.
Lopez has definitely done a great job for the Oilers. As a reliever, the Miners have definitely experienced that firsthand. He came on in game 1 to shut down the Miners.
Lopez is ready. One, the 0-1 is taken for ball 2, checked down by Cook over to Tyler Bassetti, who's head first back sliding. A close play, but he's safe. Leonhardt unable to quickly get the tag down.
Yeah, it was a nice throw by Cook, but Bozzetti did a nice job staying on his toes and diving back in time.
So 2-2 here to Drew Swift with 1 out. And this one is poked right back to the first baseman on a infield fly. It's going to be a double play. So a hit and run situation. Hit and run situation for the Miners here in the top of the 6th inning does not go their way. Tyler Bassetti was on the run. A flare off the bat of Drew Swift only goes as far as the first baseman Brian Leonhardt, who underhand tosses to the pitcher Andrew Lopez. It's the Miners 4, the Oilers 2, as we're heading into the home half of the 6th inning. You're listening to the Matsu Miners on the Miner Radio. Paul Kuntz will lead things off. Here in the bottom of the 6th inning, the Miners are ahead of the Oilers by a score of 4-2. On the mound for his second inning of relief is Noah Cordova. First pitch is on the outside corner for strike 1. For Paul Kuntz today, he struck out in the second and walked, got to second base back in the 4th, but did not score. 0-1 the count. The pitch from Cordova hits the outside corner yet again for strike 2. Cordova really painting the outside.
Yeah, he really is. Nice job of locating that fastball outside. It's really a tough thing to do, to locate pitches really anywhere with any pitch, but Cordova doing a nice job of it right now.
No balls, 2 strikes, nobody out here in the bottom of the 6th inning. The Cordova pitch, fastball misses on the outside corner. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Cordova has done a nice job. Came in last inning to relieve Sean Hughes as he gets Paul Kuntz swinging on that one. That's the first out here in the bottom of the 6th.
Cordova has that breaking ball really working right now. Oilers hitters just fanning through it, very off balance, cannot just quite figure out that off-speed pitch from Noah Cordova.
So now batting at the top of the lineup is Zach Zaleski, third baseman. He takes first pitch for a strike from Cordova, and Cordova's come into this game, and yes, he's pitched a couple balls, but he's been pounding the strike zone.
Yeah, it really is making the Oilers hitters work for it.
As this one is grounded over to third base, Bassetti took the short hop, ball stayed in front of him, but he's not going to be able to make the play. We'll see how that one is scored, but we'll believe it's an error charged to Tyler Bassetti, and it is.
Yeah, real tough play from Bozzetti there. It was on a line, and he really didn't have a choice but to try to play it off that short hop. And just unfortunately, that hop didn't kite, or it hit a little higher than he expected.
So now with the runner on, Ryan Novus at the plate. Novus is 0 for 3 today, has the strikeout, grounded out to short, and also popped up to first. First pitch from Cordova swung on and fouled off towards the right side. No balls, one strike, one out. Here in the bottom of the sixth inning. Cordova set. He holds and the pitch swung on and found straight back off of Ryan Novus. He's going to be limping a little bit as that one hit inside the line, inside the thigh.
Yeah, that one's definitely going to hit. By the way, he's kind of walking it off and may have hit sort of on that bone part of the inside, maybe knee. Maybe it got that low. Nevertheless, it's still going to hurt whenever it hits off the leg.
So somewhere on the leg, but the count now to Ryan Novus is no balls and two strikes with one out and a runner on first base. And as always, the Matsu Miners Internet broadcast is sponsored by the Napa Auto Parts of Alaska and the owner, Jim Ruda. If you're here in Alaska, stop by your locally owned and operated Napa Auto Parts and ask about the Matsu Miners jersey giveaway for your chance to enter and win. It's the Miners 4, the Oilers 2. Ryan Novus at the plate. Zach Zaleski's on first base for the Oilers. On the mound is Noah Cordova, and behind the plate, Austin Pianarini. Infield playing at double play depth. Cordova's ready. The pitch is swung on and fouled back. Count remains 0-2.
Real late swing there from Novus. It's almost like at the last minute he decided to swing at that one.
So count remains 0-2. Cordova at the set. Now he's ready. And this one's going to bounce away from Austin Pianarini. Cordova missed low and away, and it was just low enough to avoid the glove of Pianarini. As now Zaleski will go from first to second base. A runner in scoring position for Ryan Novus.
The hardest part about that whole play is now the double play is out of the question on the ground. So now Cordova will really have to work to get these next two outs, but does work with that little two-run cushion.
Runner on second now. As Cordova's ahead in the count, 1 ball, 2 strikes with 1 out into Ryan Novus. He looks back now at the plate as this one's grounded over the bag across and into left field. Rounding third and heading for home is Zach Zaleski. Heading to second base with a RBI double is Ryan Novus. And it looks like that ball will get lost in the tarp, so it's going to be a ground rule. Or excuse me, that ball got into the infield as left field Danny Wright was able to get it out from the tarp. Drew Swift walked it all the way back to Noah Cordova.
Real nice piece of hitting right there from Ryan Novus. He took a pitch just right down the line, really squared it up quite nicely, and really there was no play by Bozzetti or Wright to get that before it got to the wall.
So now 1 run is in. The Miners' lead is hanging on by a thread as the pitching coach Jeff Erlab will take a walk out to the mound. At the plate is Chad Bible. And Bible today, a single in the first, a solo home run in the third, and also lined back to Sean Hughes back in the fourth. We're here in the bottom of the sixth inning where the Oilers have gotten 1 run closer. It's 4-3, Matsu Miners here in the bottom of the sixth.
Yeah, it's mound meeting. Just trying to calm down Cordova after giving up that big hit. This game is quite a close one and very decisive as such a close gap in between these first and second place teams.
Cordova so far in relief has 2 strikeouts. As he'll look to come back, and now home plate umpire Mark Anthony Edwards is going to talk to the manager Ben Taylor, who looks unhappy about something. Not sure what might have occurred, but Edwards getting a talking to from Ben Taylor.
Yeah, it seems like some sort of he brought out his scorecard, so it must be something with the positioning or where guys are in the field.
He also did point to somewhere along the right side. Didn't look like the bullpen, or maybe he was talking about the Oilers dugout, but we'll have to find out after the game. With the runner on second base, Noah Cordova is ready to pitch out of the stretch into Chad Bible. Wind up the pitch. This one bounces in the dirt away from Austin Pinarini, and the tying run is 90 feet away for the Oilers here in the bottom of the sixth inning.
Yeah, real tough pitch to catch there from Pinarini, who tried to make the snag. As seems like there's going to be someone was just thrown out, I believe.
Someone was thrown out of the game, and maybe that's what manager Ben Taylor was talking about. Something has been said. Our crowd mic could not pick it up. If we would, we're not sure we were able to air it on air, as it might not be appropriate. But Mark Anthony Edwards has just thrown out somebody from this ball game.
Yeah, speaking to skipper Kyle Brown right now as they look into the dugout, I do not believe it was one of the coaches.
So Ben Taylor, who knows the rule book here in the ABL like the back of his head, is able to, the back of his hand, is able to talk to Mark Anthony Edwards, and someone is thrown out. We have yet to see which number or which player.
And I don't understand the long meeting right now. Maybe the quick explanation is really all that needs, because once a player's thrown out, it's not like they can be put back in.
So we see somebody turning around, taking a slow walk. We didn't catch a number. Looked like a player was thrown out, as the pitching coach, Ryan Duran, will remain in the dugout.
As it was definitely chatter, it seems like. And there's still discussion, which I don't understand why. There's Kyle Brown should just understand that the player's been thrown out. There's no reason to delay the pitching any longer.
Well, as we said, the tying run is only 90 feet away. And with that, manager Ben Taylor, we've been speaking about a lot lately.
Yeah.
Will take a walk out to the mound, pull out his card, look down the left field line, and it looks like Nathan Bach will be called on to get the Miners out of this one. It's the Mat-Su Miners 4, the Peninsula Oilers 3. Tying run for the Oilers is on third base. We'll give you everything when we come back. You're listening to the Mat-Su Miners on the Miner Radio. So now Nathan Bach is on the mound here in the bottom of the 6th inning. 1 run is in. The tying run is on base. It's the Miners 4, the Oilers 3. Mark Anthony Edwards now is talking back to the Miners dugout as we are still unsure of what has happened. Somebody appeared to be thrown out. The third base coach, Kyle Brown, also the head coach, is talking to Mark Anthony Edwards as looks like something is going to be let go as both members of the party are walking back to their respective places.
There's just got to be something to end this. There's no reason to keep having this random feuds and delaying the game any longer.
Well, something must have been said. Something must have been tipped off. We're not sure what. Manager Ben Taylor went out to the mound or went out to behind the plate to talk to Mark Anthony Edwards, the home plate umpire. And a couple plays later, as Nathan Bach gets Chad Bible swinging. So Nathan Bach is on the mound. Came in relief for Noah Cordova. Cordova went 1 inning, allowed a hit, 1 run. The runner on base is his responsibility as this one is swung on and fouled off towards the right side. 1-2 the count to Chad Bible.
This would be a huge momentum swift if Bach can get this strikeout right now. Tensions are kind of riding high. Emotions are playing a big role in this game so far. So if Bach can get a strikeout here, it would definitely really get the Miners going.
1-2 the count with 1 out. Tying run 90 feet away. The pitch from Nathan Bach is checked. Did he go? He did not. Chad Bible's able to hold his swing. Count goes even at 2.
Barely holding on. There was Bibles. That was very close.
2-2 the count. Miners 4, Oilers 3. Ryan Novus 90 feet away from scoring. Box 2-2 is high for ball 3. The fans here at Carl Seymour Memorial Field are getting anxious.
Yeah, they definitely paid for the whole seat, but they're only using the edge of it right now.
Bach pitching from the stretch. Infield has been brought in. The outfield straight away, maybe a little shallow. The 3-2 from Nathan Bach is swung on, lifted out into foul territory. First baseman Spencer Henson moving over towards the dugout, ranges over, makes the catch, and that's a second out. So Nathan Bach comes in and is able to get his man Chad Bible. Unsure why Drew Swift is now over, or came over, all the way to the third base line.
Well, not quite sure either, but that was a huge out for Bach. A pop-up that was not anywhere near for a sacrifice, so a big out to kind of calm down the Miners' defense, and now he looks for an even bigger out against a real tough bat.
2 bases are open for Ryan Cook as fastball's in for a called strike. Nathan Bach not holding back. Cook today, he's 0 for 1 with 2 walks. Count no balls, 1 strike, 2 outs. Runner on third for the Oilers. Bach's pitch taken all the way for strike 2. Nathan Bach is 1 strike away from ending the threat here in the bottom of the 6th inning.
Cook immediately disappointed with himself for not swinging, just almost stepped into it after the pitch was caught.
Bach from the stretch. The pitch outside. So Nathan Bach yet again coming in and trying to clean up an inning. Relieved Noah Cordova, who relieved Sean Hughes, who came in to relieve Denver McQuarrie, the starter of this game. 1 ball, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Runner on third. Bach's pitch is on the way, swung on and found straight back. And we're lucky there's a net.
Yeah, Bach might want to change up the speed of his pitches right there on that one. So wouldn't be surprised to see an off speed. If not, it would be a fastball high and away.
Count remains 1 ball and 2 strikes with 2 outs. Miners leading 4-3. Bach's pitch, a breaking ball. This one bounces away from Austin Pianarini, and the tying run will score. A breaking ball in the dirt. Pianarini tried to block it. Was able to keep it in front of him, but the ball bounced towards the side and away from him.
Yeah, real tough ball to block there from Pianarini as it hit really with a lot of spin. So once it hit his equipment, it just totally shot the other way.
So Nathan Bach comes in. That run will be charged to Cordova. As the 2-2 is on the way, this one swung on, lifted out into foul territory. Spencer Henson, the first baseman, ranges over, makes a catch, and the side's retired. So Nathan Bach coming in, getting 2 outs, but not before the Peninsula Oilers tie this ball game up. It's a new game. We're tied at 4, heading towards the top of the 7th inning. We'll throw it back over to Brad Walker. You're listening to the Matsu Miners on the Miner Radio.
We welcome you back into Coral Seymour Memorial Park, where we got a tasty game on hand for you folks. We're tied up at 4 heading into the 7th inning. Andrew Lopez is still on the pitch for the Oilers, who just tacked on 2 runs in the bottom of the 6th to tie this thing up at 4. And this isn't quite surprising, as 3 games in this 7-game series have been decided by 2 runs or less. And maybe a spark of offense will come because of our new first base coach heading back to his original position. Tyler LeBron is back in coaching, fresh off of the plane. So hopefully he has some wise words for the Miners, as they'll have the top of the order leading things off here in the 7th. Quiggle, Wright, and Van Blake, the 1-2-3 hitters. So Quiggle standing in tonight. He's 0 for 3, has 3 strikeouts, but this is the first time that he's seeing the right-hander Andrew Lopez. Obviously seeing the left-hander Murray, so it could change the way Quiggle ends his at-bat here.
Well, we saw Tyler Vassetti have better luck against Andrew Lopez. Let's hope the same for Quiggle.
As Quiggle is first pitch swinging now, as hits off the equipment of Ryan Cook and bounces back to the backstop. And Lopez has been really dominant against the Miners. In 6 innings pitched, he has yet to give up a run coming into tonight, as he delivers a breaking ball outside. Now he's ahead in the count to Kona Quiggle 0-2. So we're tied up at 4, top of the 7th inning between the first and second place teams in the ABL. Lopez's 0-2 pitch misses high and away, 1-2. Miners hold a 3-game lead over the Oilers. The Miners sit at 18-10, and the Oilers are 15-13. So Lopez winds and deals, misses high. The count's now tied up at 2, with nobody out here in the top of the 7th. Kona came into tonight with hits in 4 out of his past 5 games. So Lopez's 2-2's on the way. Swung on and missed by Kona Quiggle. He is now down on strikes for the 4th time tonight.
That ball got him high. It was a high heater that he just couldn't hold back on.
Yeah, it's a real tough night for Kona Quiggle continues. And that's going to bring up the switch hitter, Danny Wright, who will be batting for the left side for the first time tonight, facing the right-handed Lopez. And we mentioned Wright's been doing a lot of damage from that left side as he looks at a first pitch in the dirt. Coming into tonight, 4 for 8 in the series. Most of those at-bats coming from the left side of the dish. Lopez winds and delivers. Nails the outer edge with a fastball. The counts move to 1-1. So Lopez looks in, winds and delivers. Nice breaking pitch that hits the outer part of the zone. He's ahead in the count 1-2. So trying to continue his success against the Matsu Miners is Andrew Lopez. Been doing great relief work, as the Miners have scored in 4 out of 6 innings in this ball game. So the 1-2 to right is fouled back and over to the left side. Last night, the Miners scored in 4 out of 9 innings. Then the night before that, scoring in 6 out of 9. So you can keep that efficiency up. That definitely helps out a lot. But 1 ball, 2 strikes, 1 down, top of the 7th inning. We're squared up at 4. Lopez, his pitch. Fouled straight back from Danny Wright. He keeps this at bat alive. So Danny Wright trying to get his first hit of the night as he sits at 0 for 3, reached in the 3rd inning on an error. So Lopez looks in, his 1-2. Misses high and away for ball 2. So 2 balls, 2 strikes, 1 out to Danny Wright. Danny Wright, the switch hitter out of Southeast Missouri State. Danny, it's interesting. He had an RBI in the first 3 out of 4 games, but it has not had one since. As he looks at a fastball low, the count's now tied at, or rather, moved to full as Lopez is walking off the mound thinking it was a strike 3.
And that is not how to get favor with Mark Anthony Edwards. You never want to show up the home plate umpire, especially when he's the guy calling balls and strikes.
No, not at all. So the count is full. Lopez's pitch is on the way. Danny Wright lines one right up the middle. That's going to be a base hit. And Danny Wright's first of the night. So the Miners now with 9 hits on the contest, and they have a man aboard with 1 out in the top of the 7th inning.
Well, this has really been the resurgence of Danny Wright. He's come alive in this series, been given a lot of at-bats, and he's been doing a lot with them.
So that is the go-ahead run on first as we're tied up at 4, and Caleb Van Blake will stand in. Tonight he is 1 for 2, has reached twice, once in the 3rd with a base hit, and then in the 5th he had a hit by pitch. So Van Blake, who has 3 RBIs against this Oilers team, looks to tack on yet another one as he already has one in this series. So his first time seeing Lopez tonight as well. So Lopez working out of the stretch for the 2nd time, back-to-back innings, as Van Blake fouls one off over to the left side to go down the count 0-1. Van Blake did extend that 3-game hit streak back in the 3rd inning with the base hit, so he's hit in 4 games in a row. And now 5 out of his last 6. The Lopez 0-1 is on the way. Van Blake smashes one high into right field, but hanging under it and camped under it is Kirk. That's going to be for out number 2. So definitely a loud out from Caleb Van Blake. It was a hot shot off the bat, but nothing happening of it. And you see this in batting practice all the time. Balls are shot out that way, but that wind coming in from right field just brings them straight back.
Yeah, brings it right back. It's not like Herman Brothers Field where there's a jet stream for the lefties to poke it out. The only thing going in their favor is a shorter outfield at 318.
So a tough out there from Van Blake as he got a hold of it. Just not enough zip on it as the wind catches it. So with 2 outs and a man on first, Spencer Henson steps in. Righty on righty matchup. Lopez misses high with a fastball. So the count moves to 1-0. Miners trying to win 6 out of their past 7 games tonight. And the Oilers trying to stop their sort of losing skid where they've lost 5 out of the past 6 at home. As this fastball is in the dirt. Down to Henson 2-0.
That was a great block by the catcher, Ryan Cook. He threw his body right out in front of it, tilted his chest down, and the ball just stayed right down in the dirt.
And it's really so huge to have a catcher that can be so stoppable back there. It really causes less pressure for the pitcher. Henson is 2 for 3 tonight after striking out in the 2nd inning, has back-to-back base hits. As he looks at a strike outside, the counts move to 2-1. 2 balls, 1 strike, 2 outs. Top of the 7th inning. Miners have a runner on first. That is the go-ahead runner as we're knotted up at 4. Lopez from his chest nails that outside corner again. So we're tied up at 2. So Henson, if there's another strike delivered, we'll have to swing at it.
And we've seen this before. Opposing teams are pitching Spencer Henson away, more specifically low and away. That's where Lopez has been getting his strikes here.
Lopez, his 2-2 pitch, swung on and missed by Spencer Henson. So Lopez, after allowing a base hit to Danny Wright, leaves him stranded out there, and we're still tied up at 4 heading into the bottom of the 7th inning on Matsu Miners Radio. After a scoreless top of the seventh inning, Nathan Bach is still on to work for the Miners after working 2/3 of an inning in the sixth to relieve Noah Cordova. A run did come on Bach's watch, but it was not attested to him as Cordova allowed the runner to become on. So we're tied at 4 in the bottom of the seventh inning. The Oilers have Leonhardt as they look to get their first win in 2 games and tie this 5-game series up at 2. As currently the Miners, after dropping game 1, have bounced back very nicely and won 2 in a row, where they have scored 18 runs with 26 hits in the past 2 games. Tonight they've scored 4 runs along with the Oilers. A nice job hanging around the best scoring team in the Miners, who totals is up to 136. And the Oilers 112. Lean left side of the dish to face the right-handed Bach. Leonhardt tonight is 0 for 2, walked back in his last at-bat in the 5th inning. And the Oilers are 3rd in walks on the season. They've drawn 7 tonight. So the first pitch from Bach misses inside. Leonhardt jumps out of it. Counts to 1-0. So Bach from the wind. His pitch. Swung on by Leonhardt. A grounder over to first base. Scooping it with his glove is Henson and taps first base for out number 1.
Henson's been very solid at first base, routine play. No worries there.
Yeah, it really is a staple, much like the rest of this Mat-Su Miners infield, which is very nice to see. Fortunately, you do have the error tonight, but that was a tough error that was attested to Tyler Brosetti. It wasn't one that was all his fault at all.
That was a short hopper. Just got him right at third. Nothing you could do about it.
So with 1 out, the left-handed batting Grant Wood stands in and looks at a ball outside. Scratch that right-handed batting out of Murray State. Wood tonight is 1 for 1, has a double and 2 walks. As Bach misses high, the count goes to 2 balls and no strikes. Wood came across to score the game's second run, as we're tied up at 4 here in the bottom of the 7th inning. So Bach, after taking a deep breath, will stand back on the rubber. His 2-0 is popped into right field. Moving back into his left is Josh Hatcher. Diving, makes the grab for out number 2. What a catch for Josh Hatcher for out number 2 of the inning.
That was a great read off the ball. Right from the beginning for Hatcher. Diving to make the catch. Outstanding defense has been played behind the Miners pitching staff today.
Not just outstanding defense, but you got to love the effort that they're willing to put in for their pitchers. We're tied up at 4, so every at-bat, every pitch, everything hit really matters. And for these Miners defensemen to play like the way they are today is truly remarkable. So 2 outs in the bottom of the second. Calvin Ferris stands in. He is first pitch swinging. Dribbles one over to second base, gathering it, throwing to first for out number 3 is Caleb Van Blake. So Nathan Bach shutting down the Oilers in order 1, 2, 3. We'll head into the 8th inning, tied up at 4 on Mat-Su Miners Radio. Nathan Bach shutting down the Oilers in that bottom half of the seventh inning, setting them down in order as the Miners step back up after they've gone 2 scoreless innings. Before that, they scored in 4 innings in a row. And this ball game is all tied up at 4. Pinarini, Hatcher, Bozzetti due up for the Miners. They'll still face Andrew Lopez, who's in for his 3rd inning of work. If he can get through this, would tie his longest outing. He's gone once. He's gone 1 outing, 3 innings long. That's that 2 outings, 1 against the Miners. So Pinarini stands in. 0 for 2 tonight, grounded into a double play in his last at-bat. Lopez's first pitch to Pinarini misses high and away for ball 1. Still a beautiful day here in Kenai. For game 4 of this 5-game series, currently the Miners leading it 2-1. Lopez delivers a strike low. The count's moved to 1-1. And the Miners trying to extend that road record to 2 games over 500. So Lopez is 1-1. Bounces into Cook. Counts now 2 balls and 1 strike. And the Oilers trying to get back on their winning ways at home and improve to 9-6. Lopez from the wind, his pitch. Swung on by Pinarini. This one's blasted into right field, but moving over quickly and making the catch is Matthew Kirk for out number 1.
Now, Kirk was positioned perfectly out in right field, a little bit towards the line, and that's where the ball was hit.
So Josh Hatcher will step in. He is the last Miner to not have seen Andrew Lopez. Hatcher tonight is 1 for 2. Has a single and walk to his name tonight as he looks at a fastball inside. Scoots out of the way of it. Hatcher with 3 games in a row now with the ribby. Lopez's 1-0 is delivered. It's fouled back. Counts now 1 ball and 1 strike. And Hatcher with 3 RBIs now on the season. And just through 5 games played. That's some nice efficiency work. He's really been thrown right into the mix. Lopez, 1-1, a slider that misses inside. Count heads to 2-1. So Josh Hatcher trying to get a little spark of offense going for the Miners as they're tied with the Oilers at 4. Lopez is 2-1. Is grounded right up the middle, moving over to his right, trying to make the spring throw as wood, but not in time. Hatcher with the nice hustle to run through. And you got to love how much emotion Josh Hatcher plays with. Goes through the bag there, throws the arms out. If you hang around him in batting practice, he makes a comment after every single hit.
Well, he tries to be perfect every time. That's the key to success. You're trying to perfect your swing to a point where, it's line drive after line drive. Not everybody gets it, and I haven't seen anybody bat over 400 in the majors in a long time.
Yeah. So Hatcher has 2 singles on the day. Both are infield singles as Tyler Bozzetti stands in, looks at a ball low and away from Lopez. And Lopez, or rather Bozzetti, the first time seeing Lopez, got a single off of him, off Lopez's first pitch of relief. So the 1-0 to Bozzetti is skied in the air into shallow center field. 3 Oilers on the move over there and some communication trouble, but in the end, Grant Wood makes the catch for out number 2.
That's potentially dangerous right there, but almost a situation where Danny Wright was in just a day ago, where Danny Wright was caught up at first and thrown out at second on a ball that was dropped.
Yeah, it's always tough with those shallow singles that are especially near the bag from center field or right field. Nevertheless, nice base running from Hatcher. So we have 2 outs, and Aaron Walter steps in from the left side of the dish. So righty on lefty matchup, and we will see skipper Kyle Brown make a visit to the mound. There is someone up in the Oilers bullpen. Will be a substitution, or if he just wants to chat with his pitcher Lopez. Seems as if he may just chat with him to ask if he wants to go longer and face Walters, who's been red hot. 2 for 3 tonight, and in the series, he's been 7 for 10 and driven in 5 RBIs. So it looks like Lopez will take a slow stroll back to the dugout, and we'll see a new pitcher for the Oilers when we come back on Matsu Miners Radio, tied up at 4 in the top half of the 8th inning. New pitcher for the Oilers trying to preserve Andrew Lopez's 8 2/3 scoreless streak against the Miners is going to be right-handed thrower Trey Brown. That name sounds familiar. We saw him back in game 2, which he had to come in for a long relief effort of Brian Wu. Brown actually came in back in that first inning after Wu only did not record any outs, where Brown went 4 innings pitched and only gave up 1 earned. On the season, Brown has appeared in 9 games, all relief efforts, for a 1.92 ERA and 18 2/3 innings pitched, 16 strikeouts, and has issued 6 walks, and has also gathered up a record of 2-0. So he'll come on to face Aaron Walters. We mentioned very dangerous at the dish, and against the Oilers overall now is 12 of 26 with 6 RBIs. So 6 out of his 9 have come against the Oilers. But Brown's definitely been dominant as a relief man for the Oilers. It's going to be a righty on lefty matchup. So in that department, it's in favor of Walters. Hatcher stands on first. He had an infield single with 1 out in this 8th inning. So tied at 4, top of the 8th, 2 down between the Miners and Oilers. First and second place ABL teams. Currently, the Miners hold the advantage by 3. So Brown from the stretch, his first pitch is looked at for a strike on the inside part of the plate for strike 1. So 0-1 is the count. 2 outs here in the top of the 8th inning. Brown from his waist. His pitch misses inside. Hopping out of the way of it was Walters, and moving over to second now is Josh Hatcher. Now the Miners with a runner in scoring position with 2 down.
Now maybe some luck going the Miners' way with Hatcher moving over to second. Now ball got right through Cook. So we'll see what happens.
Who's been good for the most part, but anytime a ball passes when you're a catcher, it's never a good thing, we should say. And so an important meeting right now between Cook and Brown that was just adjourned, as Walters is dangerous and now has a runner in scoring position to try to give the Miners a lead. We're tied up at 4. So Brown, after a long look at second, his 1-1, misses high and away. The count's now 2 balls and a strike to Aaron Walters. Walters coming into this game batting .257, who's really been on a tear of late, especially against the Oilers. So Brown, his 2-1, swung on by Walters, but this one is towered into shallow right field. Camped under it for a while, making the catch as first baseman Brian Leonhardt for out number 3. So Trey Brown comes in and shuts down Aaron Walters, and the Miners go scoreless yet again for the 3rd straight inning. And we'll have the bottom half of the 8th inning tied up at 4 between the Miners and Oilers on Matsu Miners Radio. The Miners bring in some new relief right-hander Bryce Tossan out of southeastern Louisiana. So the right-handed thrower relieves Nathan Bach, who went 1 2/3 innings and was perfect of relief. He'll come on here in the bottom of the 8th inning, tied up at 4 to face Kirk, Kunst, and Zaleski. Rather, we will. Or so Kirk stands in for his first at bat, the right-handed hitter out of Moorhead State. Tassan has been pretty good this year as his first pitch is on its way. It's chopped over the middle. Moving over from his left is Drew Swift to make the play for out number 1.
That's a strong arm from Swift. Now, had to go a long way. Didn't have a lot of time, and he's just been great.
So Tassan, who came into tonight with 12 appearances, has a 1.38 ERA and 6 saves in 13 innings pitched. He's also struck out 18 and issued 3 walks. So normally comes in a save situation. So interesting to see him here in the 8th inning. But we're tied at 4, so the Miners would like to keep it that way for their bat to come up yet again. As this first pitch by Paul Kunst is fouled over to the right side. Spencer Henson not being able to get over there. Kunst is 0 for 2 tonight, has 2 strikeouts, but has walked back in the 4th inning. So Tassan, his 0-1. Kunst tries to bunt, but it is popped up in the air, and making a few steps in front of him to make the catch is Austin Pinarini for out number 2. Kunst just dropping the bat right there, therefore causing the ball to go high in the air. And that's going to bring up Zach Zaleski, the left-handed hitting third baseman out of Oregon State, with 2 down here in the bottom of the 8th inning. We're tied at 4. And Bryce Tassan trying to deliver the Oilers back-to-back scoreless innings as Zaleski swings through that first pitch. Bryce Tassan has been, you mentioned, very dominant. Been a while since he's given up an earned run as he misses low and inside with that fastball.
Well, that also helps with Tassan's fastball topping out at 95 miles per hour just coming off yesterday.
And ever since his first outing where he gave up 2 runs as he misses low, count moves to 2-1. His first outing where he runs, he has not given up any sense. Earned runs, that is. There is one just run entered in. But so 11 innings of scoreless earned run baseball from Bryce Tassan. As he misses low, the count's now 3-1 with 2 outs. So Zach Zaleski has worked a hitter's count. Zaleski tonight's drawn 2 walks in the 3rd and 4th innings, and then reached on an error in his last at-bat. So the 3-1 from Tassan misses low, and that one bounces over to the right side of the dugout. Zaleski hustling to first, but wisely chooses to go back as Pinarini gathers that one up. So the Oilers get their first man on here in the bottom of the 8th inning, thanks to a walk. It's now the 9th that they've drawn tonight, and that's the 124th walk issued by Miners pitching staff this season, which does lead the ABL. So Tassan will have to work out of the stretch and facing right-handed hitting Ryan Novus, who is 1 for 4, but in his last at-bat had an RBI double to drive in the 3rd run as he fouls this one straight back. We're tied up at 4, bottom of the 8th inning. Count is 0-1 with 2 outs. Bryce Tassan, right-handed pitcher, pitching for the Miners and facing right-handed hitter Ryan Novus, who rocks a very nice stash, we should mention.
He's been working on that for a while.
Really has. Tassan from his waist, chopped foul over to the left side. So Tassan ahead in the count 0-2. Tassan with 18 strikeouts on the season is definitely very dominant when ahead in the count. Has that nice slider that he likes to go to. So we'll wonder if we'll see it here. He looks in for his sign. Now comes set, takes a glance at first. His 0-2 is on the way. And Novus thought about swinging, doesn't matter. Mark Anthony Edwards rings them up, and Bryce Tassan works a scoreless bottom of the 8th inning. So we're all squared up at 4, heading in to the final inning of regulation between the Miners and Oilers when we come back on Matsu Miners Radio. So the Oilers counter with a new pitcher of their own as well, in right-hander Brett Reckless. He relieves Trey Brown, who came in for only one batter, and got Aaron Walters to fly out to end the top half of the 8th inning. We're in the final inning of regulation, all squared up at 4, as Reckless enters the game. For his 12th appearance and in 11 appearances, has a 3.17 ERA and 11.1 innings pitched, and has 6 strikeouts and 6 walks as well. The last time he saw the minors was back on June 12th, where he went 2 innings, did not allow any earned runs, gave up 2 hits, however. They'll look to shut down the minors once again, but they'll have other ideas as their 9-1-2 batters are due up. Swift, Quiggle, and Wright. So all tied up at 4, and we mentioned 3 out of the 7 games in this series have been decided by 2 runs or less, and it looks like it's going to go down that way unless one of these teams explode for a lot of runs. And the Miners currently lead the season series 4-3 and lead this current 5-game series 2-1 after winning the last 2. Trying to improve this 3-game lead over the Oilers to 4 and go to 19-10 on the season, whereas the Oilers looking to go to 16-13. So Brett Ricklefs out of Topeka, Kansas, by way of Colorado State Pueblo. So he'll face Drew Swift, who steps up to the dish from the right side. 0 for 2 tonight. Had the nice sack bunt back in the 4th inning, which was very instrumental to getting that 3rd run across, which Aaron Walters ended up scoring on a passed ball. And interesting that 3 out of the 4 Miners runs tonight have scored because of a passed ball. Nevertheless, Rickleff steps to the rubber, and we're ready to begin this final inning of regulation, all tied up at 4. Should be an exciting one, folks, so stay along for the ride. So his first pitch to Swift is swinging, bloops it out into right field. Moving in a couple of steps is Matthew Kirk for out number 1. Rick Lefts doesn't have to work very hard for that first out as swinging.
You know, as we said before, sometimes the first pitch is the best pitch you're going to see. Can't knock Swift for trying to get a hold of that one.
No, not at all. As left-handed hitting Kona Quiggle steps in. Quiggle has had a rough go of it, 0 for 4 tonight. But with the 3rd pitcher now he will face, maybe this will spark some luck as he is first pitch swinging and towers one into the middle of the infield. Moving over from shortstop and making the catch just behind second base is Paul Kunst for out number 2. So 2 pitches and 2 outs right now for Brett Ricklefs. That's going to bring up Danny Wright. Danny today is just 1 for 3, but has reached twice, once back in the 3rd on an error and then had a single back in the 7th. He will stay batting from the left side as he can hit from both sides. Ricklef's looking pretty dominant right now from the right side, so he'll look in. 2 outs in the top of the 9th inning. We're all tied up at 4. Ricklef's first pitch to Danny Wright. Wright looking at it, high and away for a ball.
Well, the good news is he'll throw at least more than 4 pitches this inning.
So 1-0 is the count as Rickleff comes set, chest high. Kicks and deals. Danny Wright, that's a low pitch, called for a strike from Mark Anthony Edwards. So count is now tied up at 1. As skipper and third base coach Ben Taylor's kind of turns around, shakes his head, doesn't say anything, but sort of body language tells that he is in disagreement. The 1-1's on its way. Wright holds off, but it's a called strike. Yet another low pitch. So Mark Anthony Edwards allowing that low pitch to be called for a strike. Has been consistent with it now the past 2 pitches. And the count sits at 1-2 with 2 outs here in the top of the 9th inning.
And not only with the 2 pitches, but throughout the whole game, he's been calling a low pitch.
So Brett Ricklef's trying to work a perfect 9th inning. So he'll come set. His 1-2 is on the way. Danny Wright bouncing it over to second base and not being able to handle it is Grant Wood. That'll squiggle out into right field, and the Miners will have a runner on here with 2 outs in the 9th inning. And yet to mention, that is the go-ahead run. So Danny Wright, for the 2nd time tonight, reaches on an error. This time, Grant Wood will be charged with it. So the Oilers will have another error. That's the 2nd time this series that they've had 2 errors. Now the 3rd game that they've had an error as well. So Caleb Van Blake steps in from the left side. Van Blake is 1 for 3 tonight. Reached twice, once on a single and once on a hit by pitch. All right, stands on first. Reckleff's first pitch to Caleb Van Blake misses high and away for a ball. So 1-0 count with 2 outs. The Miners, we mentioned, trying to extend this 3-game lead over the Oilers currently. And they'll definitely need a run with that go-ahead run on first. So Reckleff's his 1-0 pitch is thought about by Van Blake, but he holds off. And that's another ball, 2-0.
Also interesting to see that the catcher Cook did not ask anybody to try to check and see if he went around. The call was made by Mark Anthony Edwards.
The Miners, as Mark Anthony Edwards hollering over at the Oilers dugout. And now the fans getting a bit rowdy as well, as there's some dust kick, and we'll see the hitting coach, Rolando Sanchez, thrown out of this ball game. He was not happy with what Mark Anthony Edwards was saying to him over the dugout and showed that by kicking up the gravel, and he'll be thrown out. So yet another Oiler thrown out tonight. That is 2. One that we for sure know of is Rolando Sanchez. There is another Oiler, was though early in the ball game, got thrown out. Nevertheless, we're ready to get back to the action. 2-0 count, 2 down. Reckleff's pitch. Van Blake looks at it high and away for a ball. So 3-0 is your count, 2 down. Score tied at 4. Miners do have a runner on first. And Zach Zaleski going to talk to his pitcher. A lot of chaos happening right now, Connor. So this is really a tension-filled, drama-filled game that is.
Yes, it is. And we just saw the general manager, Torrey Smith, rushing down to the dugout of the Oilers. So not sure what she's doing over there. Probably talking to Rolando Sanchez.
The 3-0 is on the way from Reckleff's. And it's called a strike for strike 1 in the count. So the crowd likes that one. Count now sits at 3 balls and 1 strike. So the Miners, this is the 21st time that they've scored in the first 3 innings. When doing so, they're 16-4 on the season. They look to extend it to 17 wins when doing that. Reckleff's kicks and deals. His 3-1 nails the outside part of the zone. He's worked it full after falling behind 3-0. Cook will talk to his infield. So Wright, the go-ahead run, stands on first. Van Blake in at the plate. He's been pretty hot this season. 3 RBIs against the Oilers. 1 has already come in this series. So the payoff pitch is on the way. Van Blake looks at it low and in the dirt for a ball. So the Miners have 2 runners on with 2 outs here in the top of the 9th inning. That runner standing on second is the go-ahead run for Spencer Henson.
Well, this is a dangerous situation for the Oilers as Spencer Henson now takes a slow walk to the plate. And for Spencer, he just has to figure out how to take the outside pitch and go the other way with it. We've seen him do that earlier on in the season, but right now he's been struggling with the outside. So we'll see how he adapts and tries to change to the pitcher and how they're pitching him now.
And only the second walk drawn by the Miners. That's now ups their total to 99, where they came into tonight 4th in the ABL in walks drawn. So really not drawing a lot of walks, but as pitching coach Ryan Duran talks to his players, I'm sure he's trying to calm them down a little bit. A lot of happenings have come from that side of the field, especially their hitting coach just got thrown out from sort of in a lot of disagreement with Mark Anthony Edwards. So just trying to calm down his players, making sure they don't do anything wrong. But it's going to be a tough task facing Spencer Henson, who tonight is 2 for 4, doing a lot better than he has earlier on in the series. Has a total of 10 RBIs against the Oilers, Connor. He only has 17 on the season. So over half of his RBIs are coming against Oilers pitching.
Well, it also helps when you score 17 in one game, 12 in another game. So that's going to pad your stats a lot, especially against one team.
Really is, as they are hitting 296 and averaging 6.5 runs against this Oilers pitching staff. Reckleff's first pitch into Henson is popped high in the air to the right side, going out of play. So that'll just be strike 1 to Spencer Henson, who will get another chance.
Now just a little behind, just a little under the ball was Henson. He's got to straighten it out and figure it out.
So standing on second, Daniel Wright. Over on first is Caleb Van Blake. So there is speed on the base paths if Henson can poke one out there. Of course, the go-ahead run is on second as the Miners and Oilers are tied at 4 here in the top of the 9th inning. There is 2 outs to Spencer Henson as Rickleff's trying to get out of this with no runs allowed. He takes a look at second. Long look at second. Now motions to the plate. Henson holds off as that pitch was in the dirt. Another nice stop by Ryan Cook. So the count moves to 1 ball and 1 strike. So Henson, whose 8-game hitting streak was snapped yesterday, now can't start one of his own with being 2 for 4 today. That was only the 5th time all season long that Spencer Henson has gone down without any hits. Was definitely not happy with himself afterwards. So Rickleff's his 1-1's on the way. Henson swinging at it, pokes one out into right field. Will that drop? It will before Matthew Kirk can get it at the wall. Coming in to score is Danny Wright. Being held up at third is Caleb Van Blake. And Spencer Henson, much like he's done all season long, delivers in the clutch for the Mat-Su Miners. They now lead the Oilers 5-4 in the top of the 9th inning.
Well, that's exactly what we were talking about coming into the at-bats. They pitched him outside, and what did Henson do? He hit it far down the right field line. Exactly what you do with the outside pitch. Spencer Henson, great job.
It really is, and he's really a good opposite field hitter, so surprisingly that they go to him that way and do it consistently, because eventually he'll catch on like he just did right there. So runners on the corners for Austin Pinarini, who steps in from the left side of the plate. He looks at a ball in the dirt, so the count is moved to 1-0. So Rickleff's, who came into tonight with 3 scoreless innings, that streak has been snapped thanks to Spencer Henson, and the Miners now lead 5-4. The 1-0 count. Rickleff's pitch into Pinarini is skied in the air, but that's well behind the press box, and the count will move to 1-1. Pino did reach back in the second on a hit by pitch, but has been 0 for 3 since. Struck out once, grounded into a double play in the 5th, and then flew out to the right fielder Kirk in his last at bat. To change that right now, he did enter the game second in RBIs with 20. Prime opportunity with the 6th run standing just 90 feet away. 1-1 to Pinarini. This one's a shot into right field, but camped under it, moving back is Matthew Kirk at the wall. He makes the catch on the warning track for out number 3. So that's 2 times tonight that Austin Pinarini has flyed out in very loud fashion. But the Miners, thanks to the clutch bat of Spencer Henson, now lead the Peninsula Oilers 5-4, and we head into the bottom on Mat-Su Miners Radio. Welcome back to the bottom of the 9th inning here at Coral Seymour Memorial Park in Kenai, Alaska. And the Miners and Oilers are definitely going down to the wire right now. The Miners hold the advantage 5-4 after scoring a run in the top of the 9th inning. In an error on Grant Wood proved to be costly because the man that he allowed on ended up coming around to score that 5th run. So on once again is Bryce Tossan. Last inning came in, did allow a walk, but that was it. And he looks to shut things down for the Miners and try to improve them to 19-10 and clinch the series victory in this one as they look for their 3rd win in a row. After losing the first game of the series, the Miners have bounced back greatly, winning 2 games in a row. So the Miners once again with 10 hits. That's also happened in back-to-back games now. 3 times the Miners have gone 10-plus hits against the Oilers. As Bryce Tossan's first pitch in the bottom of the 9th inning is a strike to Chad Bible. Bible, Cook, Leonhardt do up for the Oilers. That is the heart of their order. From the wind, nice breaking ball, but a free ball, 1-1. Bible flew out to Spencer Henson back in the 6th inning, which was a big crucial out, as there was bases loaded. So this one is a Miners are now 2 outs away from getting extending their season series lead over the Oilers 5-3. So Ryan Cook steps in from the right side of the dish. The ABL leader in home runs with 5. If he hit one right now, it would tie this game up at 5. Tossing's first pitch is a fastball up in the zone for strike 1. Cook tonight 0 for 2, walked in his first 2 at-bats and then struck out and flew out in his last 2. So Tossan trying to retire Cook. His 0-1 is lightly popped over to Drew Swift, who makes the catch for out number 2. And now the Oilers are down to their final out here in this game. A trip to the Matsu Miners. Leonhardt is their last hope to extend this game. If Leonhardt can throw one out. He does have a home run on the season, but tonight is 0 for 3. Tossan's first pitch out to the left side. So San, as he's ahead in the count 0-1. So the 0-1 from Tossan. That misses low and in the dirt. So count is tied up at 1. Leonhardt, who came in just batting 3 of 11 against the Miners, now to 3 of 14, and is yet to have a hit in this series. As Tossan misses low, the count's now 2 balls and 1 strike with the bottom of the 9th inning. This one is out 2 and down to their final strike. And Bryce Todd, late performance, his 2-2 on the way, lined in between short and third, so the Oilers will stay alive thanks to Brian Leonhardt's 2-out base hit. And I tell you what, Leonhardt did a great job there, not trying to do too much with it. Let it come in to the zone and then hit it the other way, right where it was pitched.
Absolutely. Didn't have to do too much with it. Just kind of threw the bat out there and got a good result.
So with this slight break, we'll have pitching coach Jeff Erlab come meet with Bryce Tossan. The Matsu Miners Internet broadcast is sponsored by the Napa Auto Parts of Alaska. And owner Jim Ruda, stop into one of your locally owned and operated Napa Auto Parts and ask about the Matsu Miners jersey giveaway. So stop in for your chance to win today. So we're tied, or rather the Miners leading 5-4 here in the bottom of the 9th inning over the Oilers, but the tying run is on first and the winning run will come to the plate. And so all meeting has been adjourned. And we're going to see a pinch runner out on for the Oilers. Running for the Oilers, number 14, Brian Wu. So Brian Wu comes on. That name rings a bit of a bell. Well, it should. Wu's had a lot of pitching woes against the Miners, has only recorded 1 out and 2 starts. So Tossan's first pitch to Grant Wood just misses 1-0. So the Oilers trying to bring on some speed for their tying run on first. Tossan from the belt, his 1-0 is fouled off by Grant Wood. Wood is 1 for twice, but flew out to right field in his last at bat as Wood fouled that off as tending to it. Mark Anthony checks to see if he's going to, as he walks out to the mound to ask Bryce Tossan which baseball he wants to use.
That's a good act by Mark Anthony Edwards. Taking the time, slow down the game a little bit, give Wood a chance to recuperate after giving a foul ball off the leg. So,
yeah,
nice gesture.
Yeah, might as well make use of the time instead of just standing around and watching Wood. Nevertheless, the count is 1-1, 2 outs, bottom of the 9th inning. Miners lead 5-4. Tossan's pitch looked at for a strike, high and inside. Nice pitch there from Bryce Tossan. And once again, the Oilers are down to the final strike. When the last time we saw this, Brian Leonhardt roped a base hit. Can Grant Wood do the same? Bryce Tossan comes set. His 1-2 pitch is on the way. That's a chopper over to third base. A weird hop. Bozetti struggles with it, but his throw across the diamond is in time. Tyler Bozetti recovers to make the third out of the inning, and the Miners winning a tight one tonight over the Peninsula Oilers, and now have won 3 straight against the Oilers, and that will improve the Miners to 19-10. The Oilers will drop to 15-14, and also the Miners extending their ABL lead over the Oilers to 4 games. So the Miners get the victory 5-4 tonight. I'll throw it over to my partner for some final thoughts on tonight's game because we will not have a post-game show.
Right run Spencer Henson is needed. He comes up big, getting the RBI single in the top of the 9th inning. Henson sits on the day for him. Great job. And talk about the relief pitching. McQuarrie kind of struggled a little bit, was able to go 3 innings, pitched into the 4th, struggled there. Sean Hughes came into the game after Hughes. Then it was Noah Cordova. After Cordova was Bach, and then Tossin coming in to close the last 2 innings. Just tremendous pitching throughout the whole game for the Miners. Great job from the bullpen. Great job from Spencer Henson. And a great win for the Miners.
It really was a great overall win after winning the prior game by 4 runs and the game before that by 9. It was real impressive to see the Miners come out tonight and win in such a close fashion. And they did so by having a hit in every single inning except that first inning where they retired in order. Also, the Miners scoring in 5 out of the 9 innings tonight. So in the past 3 wins that they've had, they've scored in 4 or more innings. So nevertheless, the Miners win tonight's game 5-4. The Miners with 13 hits, the Oilers with 4. The Miners only with a lone error, and the Oilers with 2 errors, and that error proved to be very costly. It was actually the game-winning run it ended up being, and Danny Wright scoring after he reached on the error. So for the final time tonight, the Mat-Su Miners improved to 19-10, and they get the victory over the Peninsula Oilers, who dropped to 15-14. 5-4. For Connor Mills, this is Brad Walker, and as always, it's been an absolute pleasure.